keep an eye on things.
Okay.
I think it's working.
Okay, we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. I've asked Dr. Van Meter if she'll open us with prayer, please, if we'll all bow our heads.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity to gather here this evening. We pray, Lord, for your guidance and your discernment and wisdom as we make decisions to benefit our students, our staff, and our families. We ask for protection over our county. And Lord, we just ask that everything we do here this evening is favorable to you and the best interest of our kids. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Doug, you want to?
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, if we can go around with introductions, do y'all want to go ahead and come on in? Mr. Yeager, you all come on in. Y'all can just kind of scoot over there.
In the front if you want to.
Yeah, we'll get to you all. Mr. Stetler, you want to start with introductions and
Scott Steller, Principal, Moorfield Middle School. I'm Christian Yeager, art teacher at the elementary and intermediate school.
Sandy Klein, I'm a teacher's assistant in kindergarten at Moorfield Elementary School. Susie Dolly, teacher assistant, Moorfield Elementary School, first grade.
Rosie Mongold, assistant teacher, Moorfield Elementary School, kindergarten.
Jennifer Ayers, cafeteria manager / cook 3 at Moorfield Middle School.
Patricia Baker, assistant teacher at Moorfield Elementary School, first grade.
Judy has assistant teacher as well for second grade at Moorfield Elementary School.
Carrie Dolan, autism mentor at MES.
you two ladies.
Here. She's here.
Rebecca Lewis.
Steve Pendleton.
Just two kids.
We'll get back to you.
Susan Wetzel, retired post-2A.
Alice Atkins, I teach science at Moorfield Middle.
Jason Howard, I'm a custodian at Moorfield Elementary.
Beth Barr.
Jody Schubert, Bonnie Price.
You kids, want to go ahead?
Carly Kesslinger, Sandra Williams, Wyatt Jackson.
Okay.
Roy Harper.
Janet Rose, Charlotte Collars, Sheena Van Meter.
Melvin Shook.
Dixie Dean.
Doug Hines.
Welcome, everyone. We're glad to have you here tonight, and it's so wonderful to see that we're going to honor some of our young students. So first up is presentation, and we have our student achievement recognition with art students from MIS.
So we have 6 artworks the board office is so kind to display student art, 6 at a time. I have 3 here that didn't come, which is all right, understand. We have Wyatt Jackson, Skylar Williams, and Riley Keplinger. I can't remember your last name for a second. Riley Keplinger, Skylar Williams, and Wyatt Jackson. I'm sorry. And they have some artwork here that's oil pastel and watercolors, flowers.
How pretty.
And I don't know if they want to say, I'll tell you anything about it or not. Probably not.
Do you like art?
Yeah.
Betty, is that wrong?
Yes. Yes.
Is it fun using the oil pastels? Or is that what they are?
Yeah.
Fun, but really dirty.
Oh,
Kind of reminds me of a turkey's tail feather. Sorry. I'm a big turkey hunter.
Anything reminds you of a turkey's tail feather or some turkey part.
So we'll hang these up out here in the frames in the front office. So once we get them up, you guys are welcome to stop back by if you want and get your picture taken with your frame on the wall, or come by and just take a look at them. And lots of people come through those doors and get to see your artwork. So we appreciate you letting us borrow those for a little while. We can take the snowmen down that we have out there right now. So that'll be a nice warm picture. Thank you all.
Well done.
Yeah.
Steve, you want me to get to the picture? Do you want to go out?
Yeah, yeah.
We'll go out. Yeah, we can do a photo there.
She, that was one of the first
Thank you very much
graders
for
in my
coming.
row,
Oh,
first,
really?
Betty Klein. She was
Yeah,
Betty
oh,
Klein.
yeah, she's a good gal. That's Kelly's mom.
Mom, yeah.
Next up, oh, there, you're up there and ready. We'll wait till
Sheena.
Sheena gets back, but I thought if you had any preparation, but you've already done it.
If you all want to get this, but I'm not going to. I hit the highlights of what I'm gonna tell you. You can dig through that at your own pace.
Had just glancing through here. We had requested that rather than just percentages, that we have number of students. Did you include that on there? Okay, good. Thank you so much.
For the benchmarks,
Okay,
the
but
attendance and stuff, it only comes in.
sure. Well, if you want to go ahead and get started,
Okay.
that'll be fine.
Okay, so, in your data packet, I did a couple things differently. I'm actually starting to collect some trending data so that we can compare like year to year. So you'll see that I have some trending benchmark data. I think that's gonna be helpful just as far as like knowing where your kids were. What is in there right now though is like sixth grade last year compared to sixth grade this year. I'm currently working on, but it takes a lot of time, getting like previous years of where the kids were so we can follow groups of students as well and see growth. I also have trending attendance data since those are kind of like our focuses. It's on our benchmark scores and that. So kind of the highlights of the benchmark data. Our first benchmark data is low, but that is expected to be low because the students are taking a test on what they're going to learn that school year. So we don't expect very many kids to master right off the bat. On those though, our math scores do still tend to be lower than our reading scores. A couple reasons for that is probably because reading more so carries over, like you're working on comprehension every year. Whereas with math, it's brand new content standards every year, brand new subjects, things that you're learning about. We also still have high percentages of our special education students, our low SES students, our ELL students in that like lowest category, in that intervention category. And that tends to just trend throughout the year and has for a long period of time. Every school has a plan that they're working towards for improving. That's based off of the school, what the school needs, and their students. And then there are lots of interventionists throughout the county that are working with those kids who are at that lowest level who need that extra support. So that's kind of the highlight of the benchmark data. I did put in there the number of students, so you'll see on your graphs for that, you'll see where there is a percent one, but then there's also like how many students that percent represents. So that is in there. Attendance data, overall, our attendance has been better this year, which is great. Our elementary schools still tend to have better attendance than our higher levels, although Moorfield High School's attendance has improved tremendously this year. So I noticed that, which is great, because those kids need to be in school just as much as anybody else. All of the schools have some incentive program that they're working on towards getting students to come to school. Of course, there's still those kids who are chronically absent, and we're trying to get them to school. Not sure what to do about that as far as what we can personally do besides calling and sending people to their homes. So that does tend to be a problem with a few students, this chronic absenteeism. Behavior-wise, our behavior instances on MIGAS are way down compared to last year, so that's awesome. We do have a social emotional learning goal for all the schools, like all the schools are focusing on that, and trying to improve student mental health. And so you can see the behavior data in there. And then learning teams, we did have our first learning team meeting in September. I have only received goals from Moorfield Middle School and Moorfield Intermediate School. So I'll be reaching out to the other principals to see what their teachers did on that day and see if I can get some data from them. Nobody has met any goals at this point because we just set them and haven't had a meeting yet. But we do have goals that we're working on, at least at Moorfield Intermediate and Moorfield Middle. I haven't received anything from anybody else. So that is kind of a short and sweet overview of what you're gonna find in your data. Do you have any questions?
How often do the learning teams meet?
So those are typically once a month.
What has Principal Campbell done at Moorfield High School to improve their?
Honestly, I think it's probably her competition with the other high schools and like having the teachers like where the other schools.
But East Hardy's hasn't increased.
East Hardy's did this month. So if you look at that, August was right around where they were last year and then they kind of dipped. But then when I haven't put October because it's not over, but the last time I checked on that, it was back up.
What does the winner, what does the winner get, the school that has the best attendance?
So it seemed like, I'm just going off what I've seen on Facebook, but they basically challenge another school for attendance for like a 2-week time frame before a football game. And then the losing school has to wear the other school's colors on that Friday.
I remember at one time that used to be forbidden. Remember that, Mr. Studler?
Yeah, so like I know Moorfield High School lost their first one and they all had to wear red and black when they played Petersburg, so I saw that one. And I feel like that is working because their attendance rates they were much better this school year. So I think that's great. I think it's just finding what is gonna work for the individual students because every school is different.
I know the intermediate school recognizes the grade level classroom with the best attendance, and they get their pictures taken and put on Facebook and become famous.
Yeah, we have a reward similar to that. My homeroom won the best attendance for the week, 1 week, because we had 100% attendance and we got snacks during homeroom time, so.
Okay.
Or like a little prize.
Nutritional snacks?
I don't know what they were, I wasn't the one who gave them. They were snacks or like stickers or like, it was just like a big prize bucket they could pick from. So, it was something. So, do you have any other questions?
Do we have a lot of students who are chronically absent?
I wouldn't say a lot. A lot of the absences are the same kids.
Have you ever charted a student? Because if chances are, if they're in attendance problem in the first grade, by the time they got to the high school, they were still in it. How many do you actually change that start out as chronic? You know, really not many. You really don't.
Yeah, I would venture to say that's probably the same kids who've always been
yeah.
absent. So.
Thank you, Mrs.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, attendance and personnel updates. So, Jody?
Or you pass
Thank
it
you.
down, please. So, just passing out the attendance percentages and the chronic absence percentages through today's date. You just recently got one about 2 weeks ago. It's changed a little bit since then, but not a lot. But just to update you on the attendance rates. The county is currently 93.3% attendance rate. with a 21.01% chronic absence rate.
There.
The chronic absence rate at this point in time seems inflated simply because of the limited number of days. So for 20 days, 10%, you have to be absent 2 days, and it increases as you go. So with that limited number of days, it's going to seem a little inflated now. But I think we're still kind of on the same track as we were last year.
You have any students that have missed 10 days yet?
Yes.
Already?
How many? I don't know. Have to. I know we have scheduled 2 here, and I have a third one waiting for some paperwork before we do it.
So there's at least 3.
So, oh, yeah.
Do we get data from other counties, how we compare? Do other counties keep the same?
We can pull.
Can you pull that
Data
for us, how
from
we
other
compare
counties that's on-
to surrounding and?
As long as they have it on Zoom, that we
Yeah.
it should be.
Keeping in mind that chronic absences are excused and unexcused absences. So if someone has a doctor's note and they're out for 2 weeks because of a broken leg or whatever, those are still in your chronic absence list. And then an update on homeschool. Currently have 207 homeschool students in the county, 93 from the Northfield side and 114 from the Eastfield side. And we have 19 Hope Scholarship students. which are
Percentage.
separate from homeschool.
Percentage wise, because there's a lot more students that go to the Moorfield attendance. How does that compare percentage wise with the number at East Hardin? That's a large percentage compared to the total number of students at
Yes.
East side, isn't it?
Yes.
What percent is that of the?
8%.
It'd be pretty high, wouldn't it?
Added it in.
Which you don't have that
About
in the,
8%.
Huh?
About 8%, I would think, of kids at East Hardy, if you included them in.
yeah.
Somewhere around there, I would think.
We need those 114 students attending
And the
East
93.
Hardy. Yeah, we need all of them.
We need
but-
all 207.
Probably if we
Absolutely.
93, that'd be probably 4 or 5% that were in the Moorfield
How
attendance.
many teaching positions is that?
Wonder why there's such a,
Probably about 9, wouldn't it be?
discrepancy between the two.
Yeah, it's a shame.
It seemed like more of the Moorfield students chose then to go virtual and came back to us from homeschool to virtual than East Hardy side. We had a few, but I think more Moorfield side.
Do you have any indication of at what grade level these homeschool students are? That's hard to track, isn't it?
You can't go by the school. I tried to do it by the school for today,
Right?
but the system, when it ups their grade, doesn't change. Like East Hardy or elementary school kids will always be East Hardy Elementary School. It doesn't bump them up when they hit 9th grade. So it's hard to do it by school. I could, at the next time I come, have a better idea of grade wise.
I'm just curious to
Filter them by
know,
the grades.
you know, are they middle school? Are they high school?
More, I would think, high school.
Who sets the rules for an excused student or absent?
Who sets your rules?
Is that a state guideline or the
Mhm.
county?
The state, we have to go by what the state says.
And that's changed this year?
Yes.
They passed a new law the last legislative session that took away the opportunity for kids to have approved educational leave as an approved absence.
Okay, I
That
didn't know
was
where,
the
I
big-
heard
that was
that
the
changed, but I
big
didn't know
piece.
where it
That's the
came
big
from.
piece.
Yeah, the state.
The state.
Is anything else?
Thank you, Jody.
Okay, thank you so much. Next on the agenda is public comments, and I don't think we have any this evening, so we'll move on ahead to the consent items.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the consent items. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And the consent items are approved 5-0. Next we go to unfinished business. So Sarah, we're on attachment 7.
Our expenditure by object report for September 30th. The encumbrances will show next month. Those are due by the end of this month, so the payroll encumbrances will show. All the budget journal entries, everything else to date has been rolled forward and is now, we are now operating in 1 year instead of 2 years. And I finally feel like I can breathe a little bit. But these are the actual current budget in the first column, the expenditures to date in the second column through September 30th of 2024. Most all of that is within reason and normal expenditures. If you look at the money remaining column, the only one I want to bring to your attention, there's a couple in the negative, but a lot of those are encumbrances that are like utilities insurance, where we just bump it up a few percentage to try to cover it. But under dues and fees, in the last section, we only had budgeted there $10,900, and the current expenditures to date is $19,866. $16,037.63 of that was billing from West Virginia, one of the West Virginia virtual academies, Mountain State. I can't remember which one it was.
Preparatory.
So what they did was billed us for any student that we had in our attendance enrollment count as of October that then transferred and went virtual with them during last year. Which has always been in state code that you can do. Counties just have never done it, because I would be billing Hampshire for 5 students last year, and they'd be billing me for 4 students this year, and I'd be billing Grant County for 8 students, and they'd be billing us for 10 students. You would eventually, most of the time, the counties wash out, pretty much. There wouldn't be that much of a difference. However, they billed us for $16,000. But anyway, that is currently setting in dues and fees and was unexpected. And I'm not sure where I'm going to put it yet, because I want to be able to track it and have its own little area. But that's what's throwing that into a legit negative. There's a couple others, 2 or 3 others there that are negative based on the amounts we expect to spend. Doesn't necessarily mean they will go into the negative. That one's legitimately in the negative.
Is the $16,000 a one-time hit?
For that
or will
year.
they- Okay, for that.
For that year.
that
From
From
last
that
year or this year?
From that school.
From
Yeah,
that school
from
for
that
that
school.
year.
So what is a potential to happen is if any county wants to recoup any of the amount that they're being charged by billing other counties, you can't be unfair. So if one county decides to bill, they're going to have to bill everybody on the list of theirs. Like we can't get together and decide to only bill the virtual school for students who came back to us. Or if I bill Hampshire County for 3 students, then I also have to bill Grant County for however many went there, Pendleton for how. So it's very likely that all the counties are going to bill everybody, which will just be
That'll be a fiasco.
and no one has the time to sit down and track. I mean, because you have to do it based on the days that they were actually in your county or not in your county. You're going to have to go through every student, get those dates, and get the percentage that you have to have it based on what you bill.
But if they bill us, that 16,000 could turn into 100,000, and then you have no way, if you don't bill them, you have no way of recouping that money. So you almost have to kind of do the same and try to get it back.
Because there's no, so that's where we're sitting right now. We have not received any invoices from another county. I'm kind of waiting to see. I figure everybody's waiting to see what everybody's going to do. So maybe if nobody does anything,
we just pay the 16 and
we just pay the 16 and that's that. But if everybody starts billing, it would be okay to maybe say we're not going to do it a year, but eventually, if you're the only county not billing back, you're gonna get hit every year with no ability to recoup. Not that I want to sit down. and
So
do
this
all those
money's not
counties.
going to another county, it's going to,
That went to one of the virtual schools.
And it's the
In the
state
state.
operated virtual school.
okay.
Yeah,
One
so
operated
they're
by the
not-
state department, or the state of West Washington, but.
Yeah, but that's why that one looks, that was an unexpected expenditure that came about on that line item, and I haven't made an adjustment for it yet, because
How many students are attending that now then?
this year, I couldn't tell you. They billed us for last year.
Right. We don't know how many is.
Well, we know we're going to see it again next year, but
It's only the ones we get paid for that move out.
Right,
So
so we just certified our enrollment last week.
Uh-huh.
We certified our enrollment last week, so that's the students that we will be funded on. It's any of those students then at that point that leave the county at some point during the year.
Right, so if we have a kid that's enrolled here that we're getting paid for on October 1st, that goes to that West Virginia Preparatory Academy, once they get them, they say, oh, you've already been paid for them, so now we want our share of that money, and then that's when they bill us.
Yeah.
So
And
we
How much
wouldn't-
does
we wouldn't
that-
really know yet.
How much does that amount to per student?
well, it depends on
varies.
how many days they're in,
Oh,
because it goes by the days that you were in attendance here versus there.
But we average per student for formula anywhere from what, 10 to
I think
12,000?
that's what it is this year.
okay, so it's a big chunk.
Mhm, it's a
It's
big
a
chunk.
big chunk per student.
Yeah,
so
like that might only be 4 kids.
And it's gonna be for a portion of the year, because they
Yeah.
were, as of the middle of October, they were still here.
How many did we certify for this year? October 1st or whenever you did it?
2180, I think, or 2182,
I thought it was 2184, but it's somewhere in there.
2184.
It's 2180.
2180, I think, was last year. I
Yeah,
think
it's
2180 was last year.
How does that correlate with the expense per child in Hardin County schools?
Off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you that. I mean, we have a graph that the state gives each year to show that. I'd have to pull that, but off the top of my head, I could not
I kind
tell
of
you.
wonder what the comparison is to virtual schools.
I mean, what we get funded per student versus the expense per student, the expense is much, much larger, but, I mean, I couldn't tell you off the top of my
I
head.
wonder what their expenses would be.
Virtual?
I mean, yeah.
Well, it's gonna be for whatever they have no actual building.
Right, yeah.
Platform teacher.
So it's gonna be for whatever platform they use or the teacher. I mean, I don't know if all of them use I don't know if anyone uses anybody live and streams it, or if they all just
I think
use
it varies.
platforms.
It varies, doesn't it, Jody?
So it would
It's a
be,
mixture of the two.
You get a lot to learn about it.
and all the budget journal entries that you got overloaded with, those were from rolling all of the last year forward, and then any new grants that have come out. I think I'm still waiting on a couple to enter. Well, you'll get a couple more this month. I was waiting on budgets from a few folks to enter some of the other ones, but that's the big bulk of everything rolling forward. And any new grants that have come in like July, August, and September. So that was quite a load of entries. I think that was all I had.
The group insurance, what all is in that? Is that PIA, the
It's
vision?
gonna be
general,
Brim,
that?
it's gonna be all of that.
What's our annual amount for PIA? Do you have any idea? Could you just get that for us somehow?
Yeah, for PEI,
Yeah, just PIA.
our portion.
Right.
You want last year's? Because it's gonna vary.
That's last year's. we
Well,
found,
last
just-
year's were,
Yeah.
because it's
I
gonna
just want to see
vary.
what the amount may be close to.
Will our amount increase when,
Mhm.
when everybody else's does?
Yeah. Yep, now the state usually increases slightly what they reimburse us for, or part of the state aid, part of the formula is based on what we pay in PEIA, the state average. So, I mean, that increases a little bit when it does happen, but not to cover the full amount.
Didn't they say that PEIA was gonna increase about 20% this year, 15 to 20%? What?
I've heard different numbers. It's too much.
I think one of the last numbers I saw was 14%.
That's the last I'd heard too.
That's a big jump.
Oh, it is.
And I can get you that as well, the percent that it went up for this year. Is that all?
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll come visit you in your jail when you get put in.
Okay, next, we have the critical need shortage of substitute teacher policy, GCBA.
Move to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve this policy. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, and it's approved 5-0. The next policy is concerning student publications, Hardy County file JGB is up for approval this
Motion
evening.
to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve this policy. Those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and it's approved 5-0. Moving on to new business. We have several folks that are here to talk with us. First off is discussion of kitchen concerns, Jennifer Hours.
I'm a little bit nervous. I don't usually like to get up in public.
Don't be nervous.
You're fine.
So I just wrote down some things. I have some papers to kind of prove my points on things. So if you have any questions. I'm Jennifer Ayers, cafeteria manager, cook 3 at MMS for 8 years, and I've been a cook for 22 years. I'm here to discuss why we need our half a day back at the Moorfield Middle School. Approximately 3 to 4 years ago, when we had COVID and come back, our numbers, they told us, were down, which they had always ran the same. There wasn't much but a point or two difference. But they told us that we weren't half of managers anymore. We were only fourth of managers. And when I was hired, I was told I was half this, half that. Well, the problem with that is a manager cannot do their job in an hour and 45 minutes. So it's leaving us shorthanded. Like my job consists of, and I have an hour and 45 minutes. That is my fourth of the time as a manager. This includes ordering from 4 different companies, concession accounts, FFA accounts, fall harvest, state testing, snacks, in addition, daily meal recording, snack programs, grab and go, field trips, etc. Also, I have to do emailing concerning product damages, work orders that I have to turn in to Mr. Stutler, but then I also have to make sure that Josh responds, well, the maintenance supervisor responds. Anyone else to make sure the equipment is fixed. If it's not done within a couple days, I have to keep track of that and get back a hold of the people again. Trying to get food handlers cards when I have people in my kitchen that they're new. I don't have them. It's kind of seems like miscommunication because they're turned into 2 different spots and they're not sharing with each other. So we don't get them, you know, or I'm having to send them to them when the board office are required before they come in. So we don't know why that's going on. I have to do emailing, but any menu changes, if anything comes up, I might not have a sub. There's been many days that it's only been 2 people in our kitchen, me being one of them, making the whole breakfast, lunch, and doing all the cleanup, sanitizing, and feeding the kids While I have to have someone else to take my numbers because I'm back there serving, we have no help. So we're very shorthanded. I also, while I'm required to be on the floor 3/4 of the time cooking as a cook 3, I have to train new cooks and subs while I'm trying to get my own work done. So that's like nearly impossible. Some have never done it. Some's not capable of doing a recipe. If I gave them a recipe, tell them to cook something in a skillet, well, I can't let a new person go. They didn't know what they're doing. Some people doesn't really have the mentality to do it. So that puts me not doing my job or doing 2 jobs at the same time. We get the menus a lot of times at the last minute where we'll get them on a Friday and have to have them in by Tuesday morning. All in the meantime, trying to get my regular job done. I have to record all the deliveries, the end of the paper, month paperwork. I deal with other contractors with broken equipment, pest control, health inspections. I still have to get my food orders in. If I take a Friday and a Monday off, the orders are due at 2:00 on Tuesday, or not 9:00 in the morning on Tuesday. And I have to still get that order in by 9:00 if I don't want to get an email. So there's nobody trained to do that in my school but me. I have asked repeatedly for training, hands-on. A new person, especially somebody who's not computer illiterate, cannot watch a video and learn a whole new program in 4 hours. Then when I do come back, I have to catch up on all the work that I've missed because that person still can't do it. We're all rushed. We're scared we're going to overlook food allergies because you have to watch literally every label. And we have a lot of EpiPen allergies at our school. And the new people, the subs, they're not trained to do this. You're trying to train them, but everybody's hustle and bustle. I have to converse with the nurse on a daily basis on the carb counts because we have diabetics in our school. A lot of the information on the school cafe is wrong, where the products might be subbed, and we have to stop what we're doing and go and give that nurse the information. Many of us go without breaks or partial lunches. Many of the cafeteria managers are ready to quit their jobs. And many of them are turning in overtime because they cannot keep up with their workload on an hour and 45 minutes managerial time. This is why we need to go back to being half-time managers. It used to be a whole-time manager, and then it got switched to half, and now it's a fourth. This is why we need our half a day back. I have some things, I don't know if you all want to pass around. Like I said, we're very short-handed. We don't have time to do that. These are some price comparisons where we could be saving money.
Have you given those price comparisons to Becca? Are they?
Well, we're doing what is on the menu. We've been told whatever's there, we're supposed to do. You know, I can't change the menu. This new program has the exact specific food that I need to order. If it's 2 Jell-O, it tells me which Jell-O I'm supposed to order. But I have to go in that program to find out which one. I asked for us to get the numbers, and we did that for 1 month. But then there's new products being introduced, and the only way for me to know which one rightly to do is to go into Primero to find out. Well, that takes time that I don't have. So
Do you have input on what your students are eating?
somewhat, I mean, I've told her, like, that there's 2 meals that the kids are hating right now.
Right.
And they'll put it on their tray because they can't get by me without a certain percentage of food.
Right.
But then they go right over and throw it in the trash. Chicken Parmesan is not good for our kids. Beef stroganoff, ours did not like. Other things they might like better than another school. So,
What do they like? What would you say is their favorite?
of course, hamburgers, hot dogs, you know, stuff like that. But they did like the chicken fajita. Okay, the chicken fajita, it's got corn and diced tomatoes in along with it and salsa. We do it a little different. We blitz the tomatoes because if the kid sees a chunk of tomato in it, they don't like it. So we blitz it, like puree it, but it's still in there, and they liked it. So you kind of have
Play
to,
around.
yeah.
You still serving it?
Yeah, yeah, but now 1 month it says fajita and you go in and it's a USDA recipe with the corn and tomatoes in it, and like the next one, it only has onions and peppers. So we got 2 different fajita recipes going on. I don't know.
Are you
Which
able
one
to
at
make
times?
You able to make the one that they're eating, or do you have
It
to say?
depends on which one is in the production plan. So, here's the school cafe. The ones, there's the carb counts for the diabetic that the nurse has to have. So I made some changes. I didn't get to all of them, but that's the legitimate products that we're supposed to use and do use. And the counts are different. That's why the nurse is coming to me every day to get the correct ones. Plus, if something gets subbed, you know, that's all different. Sometimes I have statements on them. Sometimes I can't get them on them. These are papers where I have to, it's the new Primero where we have to put in a plan, and then we got to go back in and put in the production, how much we actually served. And then you have to go in and do the withdrawal of inventory after all that. Well, some of this stuff on here, like we got chili nachos. Well, I haven't known of any chili nacho that has reconstituted milk in it. Some of the things are like, say, telling me rice is 2 grain when it's a serving is 1 grain. So that's wrong. That's what the managers are getting stumped about, because a lot of some of these things we don't know how to input. If a serving of broccoli is a 1/2 cup, but it says 3/4 on there, how am I supposed to input what I serve? I mean, you know, I can't. So anyway, so that's some of the stuff. There's another one.
What did you say about the rice?
Well, it's supposed to be a 1/2 cup serving equals 1 grain, but on that Primero, it shows it as 2 grains. So if I put in that I served, 100 kids, 2 grain of rice, it's going to throw me over because the numbers aren't right.
So that's the program you're using at Primero, or?
Yes, and it's not completely set up. It's supposed to do inventory too, and right now the only inventory in it is Gordon's. The USDA is not in it, the Kilmer's is not in it, the milk is not in it, to keep track of the stuff like that.
Who's responsible for?
And we have to
inputting
do
all that?
separate written bookwork to do that.
Who's responsible for inputting all that information?
My figure, I think. she inputted it all, but on her behalf, that job requires more than one person too. I mean, it's the amount of stuff that she has to input like this and, you know, go getting our meat and produce from local companies, and it's a lot for her to try to get done too. I don't know how that she could get it all done. It's too much on everybody.
What program did you use previous?
We did it all by paper.
Okay. And
Yeah.
that seemed to be quicker?
Yeah. And like, say on Primero, that is how we put it, have to put our order in Primero. But what I might, like if it says, chicken nuggets, well, I have to go into Gordon's and look through Gordon's information to see how many servings that is giving me per case before I can go back in Primero to know how many to order. I mean, it's just really, really crazy. And, you know, I was one of the ones, there was 2 people for I don't know how many days that worked without subs and got this done. And first priority to us in the kitchen is to get the kids fed, get the food ordered. So right now I'm weeks behind on production papers or in the computer because I can't be on the floor 5 hours and 45 minutes or 15 minutes and only that manager. I mean, part of my manager job is taking numbers too. I'm taking numbers at least 45 minutes a day. So then that leaves me an hour to get everything done that I've got to do. Well, that's all I got to say. If any of you have any questions. Oh, I did have one other thing. I'm not sure why, but the formula they gave us when they took our cook said we were down under, it was 17 meals per cook hour. But when I read this legislative thing online, it says that they're like recommended 14 hours or 12 per meal. But I don't know why we're 18 in Hardy County. And then when I asked the state people who made those decisions about half-time managers, fourth-time managers, they said it was the county that did that. So that's what all the cafeteria managers are complaining of. I personally don't want overtime. That's why I went into work with the school system to spend time with my family. And I don't want to have to go home, which I have many days, and put food orders and everything else in. So that's all I have to say. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate it. Okay, next up is discussion of classroom help and classroom management training. Carrie Dolan.
Put your nose in a circle. You used to do that.
There was about 10 of us on the board that day,
Okay, okay.
and we all got it, so. First of all, I want to say, my name is Carrie Dolan. I work as an autism mentor at the Moorfield Elementary School. This is my 4th year in education. I did time at the intermediate school last year and everything, but I enjoyed my time with the kids with the special needs, and that's why I went to the autism mentor this year. I know it's a challenging job, but this year I walked into a classroom with 10 kids, with 1 teacher and another aide. The behaviors is just like, I honestly couldn't believe it. So basically, I want to thank you for allowing me the time to voice my concerns. I love what I do, and I appreciate the county taking the initiative to provide some additional support and stuff. We did have a teacher that left about after 4 weeks in the classroom. We have had some additional people from the board and stuff that come in and help us out. However, most days I have failed. I feel like I've failed as an educator, and I feel defeated not having the resources that we need. Our biggest issue lacks from staffing and the behaviors of the children in the classroom, who are all on different levels of the spectrum. The behaviors that we have in the classroom are from hitting, biting, kicking, scratching, spit on, hair pulled, And the other kids in the classroom are picking up on those behaviors from the other kids. So if we're trying to tell this child that they can't hit, but then this kid's hitting, and then we've also been told that we can't discipline this child because of safety issues for certain things. Well, even with a kid with autism, if they see another child that's, they're being disciplined, but yet this kid's not being disciplined for what they've done, then it's just going to continue. The cycle's going to keep on and on and on. Second of all, we have no bathroom in our classroom. So therefore, if a child has to use the bathroom, we have to take the kid clear down the hallway to the office to use the bathroom. That's not good for the kids. We had this little boy who basically, the bathroom that we were using, that had the audio, because we had to put audio in the bathrooms this year, basically it was a woman's bathroom. And we couldn't figure out why. Every time we was going to the bathroom, he kept saying, "This is not my bathroom, it's not my bathroom." Well, come to find out, it wasn't a little boy's bathroom, And so then we had to get a different sign and put on the door and this or that. It's not good for him. It's not good. We also have a little girl in the classroom too. So we have to make sure that we take different cycles and this or that. But to have to take a child clear down the hallway to change their incontinent product, because half of our kids do use incontinent products, it's not very dignifying for them. We have in our county, it says one teacher, from what I've been told, you can have one teacher or one aide per 4 students. Well, at times, if that person has to take a child to the bathroom, then that only leaves 2 to the other 9 or so that's in that classroom. We are trying to transition some kids out. That's working in some aspects, in some aspects it's not. As far as the behaviors go, we are trying to separate. But right now, I know there's a posting for 2 teachers in that classroom. I don't even think we're going to get 1 in that classroom, to be honest, And it's sad. It's very sad. But I think the job itself is overwhelming, and I think that's what people look at. So if we could get 2 people in there, it would take off the pressure, and it would be a better, environment for another teacher. So basically, I'm asking, and I know that there's a postings out here, but more consistency in the classroom. With the kids that we have, consistency is a key for them. If they see the same faces every day and they have the same, we have the same discipline every day, it becomes a pattern for them, because children with autism, they like the pattern. They like the consistency and this or that. So basically, I'm asking to see if you guys can get us some more help in there, because it's gotten bad. I'm going to be honest with you. There's been days I went home and cried because it's been terrible. I told my husband one day, I said, "I think we'll quit," and he was like, "LOL," and I was like, "I'm not laughing," that was just a simple fact. So yeah, if you put the word out there, get more help, maybe we could get a bigger room, separate something. I'm not sure where we're going to get it from, but I just appreciate y'all listening to me.
Where's the physical location of the room in the elementary school?
It's on the 2nd grade wing. Yeah, in between 2 2nd grade classrooms.
Okay.
If you turn left at the library, Mr.
It's the second room on the left. It's the second room on the left. 1 through and 3.
Right past where the art room used to be?
Well,
Yeah,
the next
on the right
classroom
side.
up.
Yeah.
It's
On the
yeah.
left.
Well, yeah, but you got Miss Rayo's class and then our class and then Miss Leniger's.
And the bathroom that you guys use, is that the one out across from the office?
Yes.
Did you am I right that both of them are,
Just the one.
the one's still a staff and
The
then the
one is
other
still
one
yeah,
is
like
the
the men,
recorded,
yeah.
and the other one's the recorded?
Yes, and it does have audio in that
That we
bathroom.
had recorded.
Because in our room, we have video and audio in our classroom and then audio in the bathroom now. So.
And so let me make sure I have this right. You have 10 students in the classroom. You
Well,
have-
and from my understanding, we're probably getting a new one tomorrow, so that'll be 11. So, yeah, that was, I wasn't told directly, but that's hearsay.
And there's 1 teacher.
Well, and when we have a sub, so there's days that we do have subs listed. There's other days, I can honestly tell you, I walked in Friday and Shanda and Mr. A were our people.
So Dixie, we had the teacher that was in there left and took the chemistry position at Morfield High School.
Okay.
So we reposted that position and then we posted an additional teacher. Because of having the 10 kids, we were gonna split them off into more, more aligned with behaviors.
Right.
To try to separate them out. So we've had, this will be the second or third time it's posted. It's being posted again tomorrow, but we've had that one posted. So that we have subs for both of them when we can get subs to take the jobs. But as you know, there are times when that doesn't happen. And Marsha's been there a lot, I think.
I'm gonna honestly tell you, Marsha has been a godsend.
Yeah, she's good.
I mean, because she's stepped up and she's done things and this or that. So it's been really nice to have her in there.
She's very good. And so when we met, me and Beth and Mr. Armentrout and Marsha had met a while back, we devised 2 separate plans and 2 different schedules to try to make things a little smoother, a little more aligned. The main issue right now, I think, is getting people to fill the substitute and then to apply for the position. And I don't know.
Because I think when we have consistent help in this, it'll help the behaviors.
Right, for
I mean,
sure.
we can work on those behaviors.
Yeah, I agree with
because-
you 100%.
Because I mean,
Yeah.
like I said, I've worked in, it's just, I've never seen
Yeah.
the behaviors that we're getting. in
Yeah,
some-
you can mention the aid piece. Go ahead. Yeah. Okay.
So we're also posting for an aide position tonight or for tomorrow to try to help. We're thinking that if we cannot, since we've not been able to get the teacher position, hopefully we'll at least get more help with another aide. So
To at least have 4 people in the
So
classroom.
if we can get the aid to be filled faster, then we would pull back on the teacher position and then you would have that additional person that way
Okay.
to separate them out still and provide the supervision.
Right, because that's what we're looking at, is to try
Yeah.
to, to separate them a little bit more.
Right.
Because like I said,
Which
it's,
would be helpful, I think.
right, exactly.
Yeah, we know 100%. I don't know how we find people and make them, you just can't make people come and apply to get, and even getting the same subs is next to impossible.
Well, and that's another thing too, even to get a sub for you.
Yeah.
Especially like in my position, like I have to take off tomorrow because I have an appointment, but I haven't got a sub as of right now.
Yeah. I know also when we met a few weeks ago too, we talked about the training for you guys because I know that was something that was a concern.
Right.
We knew that we needed to make sure you all knew how to handle those kids too, because it's not your typical classroom. And we've done more of that. To try to get
What's
you guys.
what's your oldest student, the oldest student in the class?
We have 2 second graders in our classroom. We have 4 first graders and 4 kindergarten. And they're all in the classroom together. So, but there are 3 that's transitioning out. We usually have them out through, like this, recess. They go to the classroom during lunch, recess, and the specials. And so that's, a little bit of time that's out of the classroom. So, when we were talking about our behavior thing that we're doing, is there any way that we could possibly get more on autistic children that we work with compared to a regular kid in the classroom having an outburst?
That goes along with the 30 hours of training that you had for the autism mentor, but you can go back and look at those at any time.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you guys very
Thank
much.
Thank you.
Okay. Next stop is discussion of concerns, issues in the workplace by Eileen Rosie Mongold.
You'll have to stand up. I'm Rosie Mungold. I've been employed by Hardy County Schools for over 20 years. I'm here on behalf of myself and my fellow coworkers. During our Hardy County School Service Personnel Association meeting in October, several concerns were discussed, and this is a combined list from many of those members. The top concern seems to be behaviors of students and the lack of consistent consequences and parents' accountability. We are not sure if Hardy County has a behavior plan, but if there is one, it needs to be followed, revised, etc. There is no reason a staff member should be subjected to violent behaviors such as throwing objects, hitting, kicking, biting, etc. by students on a regular basis. A staff member should not have to restrain a student on a consistent basis. Maybe if these students were sent home with an unexcused absence, some of this would stop. Teachers and staff are having to leave their own classrooms to assist another teacher or staff member with a violent student. This disrupts many classrooms and causes students to not receive the required amount of education. This also causes special education students to not receive the required amount of minutes per their IEP. Another topic of concern is the desperate need for substitutes in our schools. When there is no substitute, it makes it harder on everybody. We were once told that department heads from the central office would fill a substitute position if none was available. There's also a need for new hires to be trained or to do some job shadowing. Another suggestion is maybe if a regular staff member was offered a little bit of overtime, say, there's no custodian this evening, well, hey, I might be able to stay for an hour after school. I mean, I could probably clean kindergarten wing if nothing else. Also, I believe this past year, the legislature passed a $500 incentive bonus for professional staff, but not service personnel. I believe, do you all not offer professional staff a $500 incentive if they don't miss under 5 days?
That's been that's been there for years.
Okay, but it's not offered to the service personnel.
Right, the state's legend, it only
That's
was
not
passed
right.
for professional.
Well, we asked that question when we had our union representative, and she said there are counties that do that for their service
That
personnel.
pay it out of county
They-
funds.
Yeah, evidently. This might, be an incentive for some people to not be taken off all the time. And also, if we could use those accumulated days for anything these days, like our insurance or things like that, that might be another reason people would not take off so many days. Also, and I know this is something with the legislature also, is overage in the classrooms. When a classroom meets the maximum number of students that they're allowed to have in the room, professional staff is paid overage. Service personnel, assistant teachers, we get nothing. And we do just as much with those kids as what the teachers do.
Did you know, are there
I know-
other counties?
I don't know about that. I
Okay.
didn't think about asking that. And I do know that our Service Personnel Association brings that up to the legislature every year, and it's been,
Shot down.
and I'm not sure if other counties do that as well as the $500 incentive.
Okay.
Another topic of concern is the amount of food waste in the schools. It's unthinkable that we have money to throw in the garbage. Breakfast seems to consist of mostly sugary items with very little protein at all. Then we wonder why the students can't focus, sit still, learn, etc. in the classroom. People suggested better options with things like cheese sticks and cottage cheese, a good yogurt, not sugary tricks, or Greek yogurt, because if you work with elementary kids, they're not eating Greek yogurt. Maybe a good cereal and not this bioengineered food products that has dye in it. Sausage, eggs, and I think for some of the kids that they would eat the scrambled eggs if they were given a ketchup packet to put ketchup on it. Because, kids eat anything with ketchup. A lot of unopened items are being thrown in the trash. I realize that, there's a lot of things that goes on behind the scenes that we don't know about. There's a lot of rules, there's a lot of regulations, but some of this stuff just seems like common sense. I mean, elementary age kids, they don't eat spinach. So the spinach that's served, you might as well just pull the food truck up to the dumpster and just go ahead and throw those cans of spinach right into the garbage.
What's the spinach served with, Rosie? Used to be
What was it?
mac and cheese, half an egg.
Yeah.
No, it was an
What is it?
Alfredo.
What was it?
It's
What
was a chicken parmesan. Chicken parmesan.
Oh, man, they were really hitting that one, huh?
Like chicken farm and then you serve spinach with it.
And we all know things are different these days. Kids are not like I was when I was little. I mean, I might have ate spinach a little bit, but I mean, they're more apt to eat the fresh fruits and vegetables off of the salad bar
Okay.
than they are to eat anything that comes out of the can.
Okay.
And I know for breakfast, I think they're only required to have 3 items. So it's like, just get your 3 items and go. They don't need a whole lot of, they just don't. I mean, and I know when I take my kids through the line, I explain to them, if you're getting something off that salad bar, you're expected to eat it. I mean, I know that some of the schools, like the uneaten food, like it's offered like to the staff, like at some point, maybe the next day, or whatever. Lunch seems to be a little bit better, but like I said, they will not eat that spinach and a lot of the canned food products. Overall, staff morale is very low. Service personnel feel uninformed, unvalued, disrespected, etc. Some of the suggestions was maybe service personnel should be added to more committees than what we are on now, because we feel like we don't get much of a chance to ever come together and discuss things. And, we're pretty intelligent people, and I think we always have some wonderful ideas. And I know I work with my classroom teacher amazingly well. And I feel like if we would just be involved a little bit more in discussions and topics, and we would like to see more of the Board of Education and the central office make appearances in our schools, unannounced appearances, from breakfast to dismissal. I mean, really go in every classroom and observe what we're dealing with now. And we would love to be able to just sit down, sometimes just to have a discussion with Board of Education members. I mean, not really have to be going and all that. So thank you for your comment.
Hey, Rosie, I just wanted to say there was a bill that was passed that said, for example, if you needed a custodian and you've everybody on the list has been called and nobody's available, that we can have a list of emergency people who, if they wanted to do those jobs, they could be on that list. You still have to pass like the custodial test, whatever list you wanted to be on, you would have to pass that service test. The problem is, and we've been trying to get that policy, each county has to have a policy to do that. We've been trying to get that policy in place now since it passed. And the issue is nobody can tell us how we pay. So if we're trying to, and actually we have a call in the morning at 10:30 with an attorney to try to figure it out, because we originally thought it would be overtime, but then we didn't know if it was overtime in your own classification or overtime paid at the rate that like the custodian would be paid. And then we were told that it is, if you do it at all, it's a half a day. And then we were told, no, it's hourly. So we've been asking for somebody to tell us so we can write our policy so that we can put that out there. And then when that happens, if you want to be, if you want to come back and clean and you want to be on that custodial list when nobody shows up, then absolutely we'd be able to pay you guys to do that, drive a bus, work in the kitchen.
That would be awesome.
If you're an evening custodian and you want to come and do any of those things, we can put you on the list.
That's what I want to do.
We need all kinds of.
She wants to feed the kids, take the kids to school, teach the kids.
I'm just gonna do it all.
Clean up bathroom and take them home.
Start your own school.
We are working.
We appreciate you wanting to see us, and we always enjoy when we come and visit the schools also.
Yeah,
It's just to see
Well, we
what
have to
is
see
going
more
on.
of you.
Well,
But are we allowed as individuals just to pop in?
You
Because
just
I
should
have been
notify,
told-
you can notify
do
the
that.
office. The problem is individually, they're no different than anybody else off of the street. As a whole, they're a board, but individually, but if you call and say, hey, this week I'd like to slip down to Warfield Elementary School, I would need to let the administrator know, hey, they want to come in and walk through. They can't sit in classrooms for long periods of time, just like parents can't do observations of student
At one
instruction.
time,
They
we
can
were
visit.
strongly discouraged not by her, but we were, yeah.
that's changed consistently.
Yeah.
now, dude.
You can sit back in the corner for a while. You can just stand outside the door. Just stand outside.
We
the
weren't
door.
even supposed to be in the schools unless we were in there as a group.
That's
They
why I
just
was
have to
asking,
follow
because
certain procedures.
Okay.
It's a group there.
See you now.
I'm leaving to go to Colorado.
Mr. Hines.
See you. See you in about 2 weeks.
Okay.
So I'll probably miss my second meeting.
That's okay.
Have a safe trip.
Yeah, good luck.
We're gonna need to do a lot.
What else happens? You have a safe trip and hopefully it's successful.
Okay. Next up is discussion of health, safety, and training. Susie Dolly.
Oh, I have to wrap up what they already spoke about, kind of, sort of. Do you know me? I like to talk, so I don't have a problem.
We like to listen, so
Sorry.
you're in good shape.
All right, Miss.
You're down at the bottom. See the P at the bottom?
Yeah, well, I'm up here, I just don't have it on the screen.
Oh.
I'm up. I'm not gonna be like that little, who's a little lady, who's a little girl that left. I'm gonna make you read it all. No, I'm just teasing. It's not much. It's just kind of something you can jot notes on. You can start your fire with it. I just made one for everybody. Sean, you want one?
We appreciate that.
I don't know if I have one for you. Oh, yeah, there.
You want me to hit click?
That's the thing. No, leave it right there, please, because I don't know where I'm at. Everybody get one? Dr. Van Meter, do you want one?
Yeah, if you don't mind. We have enough.
I do, I think. First of all, I'd like to start out, as they did, thanking you guys for letting me speak a little bit. Rose and Carrie did a fabulous job and touched on a lot of it. I like in Sunday school, we always start with joys and concerns. Well, I'm gonna start with joys. I love what I do. I really like the last 2 years being an assistant teacher in first grade. Thoroughly enjoy it. Feel like I'm getting a lot accomplished, or the two of us, the teacher and myself, are getting a lot accomplished. And as a board, and I don't think some of you were on here yet, but Sheena, Dr. Van Meter, had us in here for getting our associates, and I personally want to thank you. That was great. That kind of got me through to do that. Sean as well. I don't think anybody else is in here that went through that, but thank you very much for working with Eastern for doing that. I really appreciate that, because if you all wouldn't have pushed that, I probably wouldn't have done it. But I marked that off. Really wasn't on my bucket list, but I marked it off. Now to concerns. Those are my two joys. And this is basically what I'm going to talk about. And I'm just going to recap pretty much what Carrie and Rose said. This is what I'm going to address. Mental, physical health of staff, students, the behaviors. I'm going to mention those a little bit more. Trainings, which we've also talked about, and some solutions that have come up during our service personnel meeting, and not just our school, not just MES, but it was countywide meeting. So there were other people there that representing. First of all, I listed these because I know the ladies spoke about them, but these are unacceptable behaviors that are going on in classrooms. Not all classrooms. The one that was talked about pretty much. Biting, pinching, hitting, headbutting to a point to where I believe the teacher was maybe concussion. Throwing objects, screaming, fleeing, spitting. Now, when we're talking, I wish Mr. Hines would have stayed, kindergarten, first and second grades, there's a problem, which the lady spoke. There's a serious problem, and it's only getting worse. I will tell you that because I know in pre-K as well, this is going on. The children that are in pre-K, though, cannot be in that room by law. Wrong, somebody stop me. Some repercussions of these unacceptable behaviors would be, I've already stated this, the lack of productive learning environment. Classrooms are becoming unsafe for all students. And I'm not talking just that classroom, I'm talking about my classroom that I'm in. There's behaviors. I bet we could go around the room. There's behaviors in a lot of regular general ed classrooms as well. Pre-K through second grade, guys. I'm going to keep saying that over and over because I'm talking about little kids, young kids, 4-year-olds and up. We all know, you guys know this as well as me. I really don't have to tell you, the increasing rate of teachers and staff leaving and acquiring subs it's not happening. Can't get them. I will tell you that a couple years ago, we had a training LDI meeting at Morton Middle School, and the topic was consistency is key. And that lady kept saying it over and over and over. And until we have consistency, on a regular basis, you might as well just forget changing anything, doing anything. Because we can have a teacher call down and say, I need help in this room, and they'll come running, and we can have a teacher down in another room call and say, I need help, and they don't come. It's just how it is. Trainings, yeah, I know we're rushing to get trainings in now, nothing against what you guys are doing now. Training should have been done at the beginning of the year. If the incident wouldn't have happened and our teacher wouldn't have left from that room, I would be having this conversation, wouldn't be here, probably.
Actually, recent legislation requires that we do that training, just FYI.
We need it, it needs
Yeah,
done,
yeah,
and not. just
Everybody has to have
CPI.
it. Yeah.
I need it, I think mine's ran out, I need it.
Not, CPI is not required for all staff, but all
It needs-
aides
have to have behavior
12
training.
hours of behavior
Okay.
training a
Yeah.
year.
Well, required or not, I need it, I'm asking, I need it. And I'm sure there's other things besides CPI. Training for all subs. And I know Rose touched on this a little bit, or somebody else talked about, we need training, I think it was Jennifer. We need trainings for everybody that comes in to do any type of jobs in our school, because the criteria of people that we're getting, I'm not saying all, just cannot do the job, or they don't want to, or they're there for a paycheck. They need to be trained. They need to job shadow, they need to do something. I know when I was hired, I had to go spend some time at the other schools. They come in, they don't know where anything is, and I know they can't be in there long and learn everything in one day, they can't. But at least we'll familiarize them with the buildings. It's sad, they come in, you might as well just keep them home. Once again, I'm gonna put consistency, because if we do not have consistency, it's not gonna work. It doesn't matter who you are, who you know, who you don't know. When you get on that radio and you say you need help in the classroom, somebody needs to come running. Somebody. Don't think, oh, because I'm in there, oh, she's got it, she can handle it. Because there's lots of things I can't handle, but that's not right. I need the help as well. Just because I'm a little bit more vocal, harsh sometimes, doesn't matter. Come help me.
Is that just related to behavior, Susie? Is
Yes.
that with the,
Yes, because I think some people up above think that, oh, well, they can handle it. Or that's part of your job, you can just handle it. I don't say anymore. The next one, alternative classroom or school for younger grades. I don't know if this has ever been thrashed around. I know we have alternative schools for the older kids. It's coming, guys. I can tell you about the pre-K kids. It's coming. We have to have something. I don't know where you're gonna put it. Don't know if it's on that side of the county, this side of the county, but we have to have it. They're just getting, and I don't want to use the word worse, that children are different. The children, the groups of kids that we're getting in are different. I think Rosie spoke about the updated behavior plans. Not sure what's going on there, but they're definitely dated. We need new ones. And punishment, there's got to be some kind of reprimand for some of the stuff that's going on. You can't just say, oh, it's the kids and that's the way they act. No, it's not good enough. We definitely need more staff. Gosh, I could preach all night. All right, next we're to the cleanliness of the work environment. This was the second main concern that was brought up at our meeting. We're not really sure on what's going on with this issue. If the workforce that we have is not, they are not trained, or what the problem is, but I'd appreciate if you'd pass that around. These are the things that come up: classrooms, hallways, break rooms, cafeterias, bathrooms, the nurse, EA halls, clinic rooms, where we see lots of patients. Sometimes it's like a war zone in there in the morning at my school, and I think at other schools as well. It's pretty busy. They have got to be cleaned. I don't mean just a little bit. Clean.
How many custodians you have now, Susan?
We have two, and I'll get there in just a second. Classroom floors are not being mopped or swept. Bathrooms are not being cleaned every day. The job description states every day. I think may have said daily. I also have job descriptions for you all can print, you all can look at them, but I went ahead and made and take one packet of ECATs, custodians, and cooks, because we're not sure whose job it is to clean the cafeteria. Our janitors at MES spend a lot of time during breakfast and lunch in our cafeteria when maybe they could be used elsewhere. There's no disinfecting going on. It's flu season. I think in there it says read the job description. You all wrote it. It says disinfecting of things. The smell of urine in our bathrooms is unacceptable, guys. Your bathroom's beautiful. Dog hair, we have MES. We have a dog, we love Shadow. I have a dog at my house. I can't just get a wet mop and clean up dog hair. Not gonna work. There, again, about the nurses, cafeteria, huge job. We have 2 janitors. I had to include this because this is an interesting fact. We have bathrooms in our pre-K rooms, little tiny, one little urinal, sit on the floor, way low. We have 4. We have 6 kindergarten. 1 is currently being used for our PE and physical therapy sessions because we only have 5 kindergarten teachers this year. There's 2 in the first grade wing, and when I say that, 2 in the first and 2 in the second, there's 2 bathrooms with 4 or 5 stalls and urinals, but the other ones are just single things. 2 staff, 2 outside the office, 1 in the office, 2 outside the gym, cafeteria, 1 in the kitchen, total of 22 bathrooms, doesn't include the number of toilets or urinals. That's a lot of bathrooms. At MES, there's approximately 295 students. There I gave the numbers. I know pre-K is a little bit more than that, but I didn't count the off-site ones. So if they use the first grade wing bathroom 2 times daily, that equals 590. That's a lot of peeing going on. Some of the pre-K teachers told me that I asked them why, because I wanted to, didn't know if anybody would ask me, I asked them why they didn't use their little bathrooms. A couple of them told me they were filthy. A couple of them said, I use mine, as well as some of the kindergartners said they do. And then some kindergarten and pre-K said, I do it for the time, because they can get the little ones in and out quicker, because there's only 1 potty in the room. So I understand. So it's the choice of the teachers. Sinks, toilets, urinals, and stalls are not being cleaned daily. They need cleaned every day. The job descriptions, once again, will tell you, it says every day. So maybe this is what we need. We need trainings for custodians. We need trainings for subs again. We need solutions, maybe abide by the job descriptions or hire a half-time custodian. We're one of the bigger schools with most of the amount of children, with all those bathrooms, and maybe 2 janitors just can't get it done. I don't know, I don't really have the answer, but something has to be done, or just do your job. It's filthy, it's embarrassing. We had some of Moorefield High School people over there today, and she asked me to use the bathroom. I was embarrassed. Aides should not have to clean. I'm not above cleaning. I've cleaned a lot. I love cleaning. I'm a cleaner.
Do you all still sweep your rooms and that kind of stuff? The age?
I did, but I'm not anymore.
I was just curious.
Yeah, I'm about done.
I knew that was going on. So.
Yeah. Yes. And set the trash in the hall. Not my job description. You can add it. You've added lots of stuff to our, and that's fine. I understand. You've added that we had to ride the bus. That's fine. We all knew that. We fighting over who had to ride the bus, who couldn't ride the bus. You added that to us, to ours, but the custodian's job description has been made. There's lots of things on there to do. Maybe they can't get it all done. I don't know. I don't really know the reason. But anyway, this includes trash, sweeping, windows, mopping, and disinfecting. Yes, do I wipe tables off? Yes, I know Rose does. I know those ladies are shaking their heads. We all do. So if we do all that, then the other stuff should be getting done. I want to end on a good note. 7 habits of highly effective people. I don't know if you all should know about this because you pay for the training. I've had it. This is my 2nd time. It's my 20th year. I think I'm going into 20 years. About 4.5 left in Hughes County. This was the first book that they gave us a long time ago. Rose, you take it to this grade, gave us the training. And we're teaching our kids this too. This is something that we do our kids. We sing the little song, we do the little dance. We've done it forever at Moorefield Elementary School. Here's the one that I took down off the wall. It was in our classroom. I'm going to end on this. My habit here, synergize, number 6. Together you are stronger than alone. And for the little kids, it says together is better. I know that everyone is good at something. Everyone needs to get better at something. We can all learn something from each other. Working in groups helps you create better ideas than what one person can do alone. That's for the kids. This is for the adults. Together, you're stronger than alone. It's a proven fact. I'd like to thank you guys for your time. I would like to invite you, like Rose did, for all of you to come visit our school. Stay all day. Please stay all day. We're never tired. We understand students have changed, laws have changed, and our world has changed. Parents have changed with a lack of parenting. We know that. That's not an excuse. We love our jobs, but it takes everyone working together to get it right. We're just asking for help, so in turn we can do our job, which is to teach, instruct, listen to, love, and help our students any way that we can. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Very
Thank
good.
you all so much. Okay, next update, next new business or child nutrition updates. Becca?
I don't know where you want me to go. With all of the talk in here about nutrition, I was wondering if you all had any questions first. Because there are some things that I wouldn't mind addressing that had been brought up this evening. Is that okay?
I think that's fine, yeah, for sure.
Not sure where to go. They'll
Just
change.
wherever you're comfortable. If you'd like to sit, you're welcome to sit. If you want to stand there, you're welcome.
Some of the unopened items, I did hear that, nothing should go in the trash. If something is unopened, prepackaged, it needs to go into a share table and then the students can get it later. Actually, pre-K can eat them later for a snack. They can be taken to the pre-K classroom, so they should never go in the garbage.
We asked about that.
Well,
That
if you
would
need me
be
to
great.
say something about that, I
That
will.
would be great.
Yeah.
That it can be.
Because that is wasting food.
Yeah.
We definitely don't want to do that.
I get very tips when I ask about that.
Sugar is another thing. That is something that next year there will be a limit on the sugar. A lot of the companies have been taking their limits back, including yogurts and items like that. So they've been reducing the sugar. When we get items, we get reduced sugar items. We also get items that are lower in fat and everything. When they take out fat, they gotta put something else back in. When they take out sodium, they gotta put something else back in. We have limits on everything. So what it amounts to is sometimes they add added sugars. And, you know, the natural sugars that are already in there, they have some added sugars. But there is a limit that's coming next year on the added sugars. But the companies have started to do that anyway. We do buy reduced sugar items. And, you know, I know it doesn't help a lot, but there's not that many things you can have for breakfast. We do have, like, some of the things that we make from scratch. We've had pumpkin muffin bars this year so far. We have eggs and, of course, sausage. We have the English muffins that we put eggs and sausage and cheese on. We do all of those things for the kids. Sausage gravy, we do eggs, we do hash browns. We try to make it as many times a week as we can, you know, but then we also, pardon me, we have the cooks that are also going to be creating lunch at the same time. So if we have a big lunch during the day, we usually have a lighter breakfast.
Can I
So
ask
that
a
it can help.
question?
Absolutely.
Do you ever have time where you can come and like look at the kids, like stay during breakfast and lunch to just see what they are eating, walk down by the tables, stand at the trash cans and just see what all is being dumped into the trash?
And I did that actually. We did I think it was a couple of years ago, maybe even the year before COVID. I worked with the extension office and we did, you know, I took pictures of trash cans all around the county just to try to get an idea of what was going in the trash during breakfast and during lunch so that we could try to figure something out. We actually weighed them. Weighed them before and then we weighed them after to see what was eaten, to see what went in the trash can. And if someone is serving a kid spinach, they needed to have asked for it. So hopefully they're not just giving it because it's offer versus serve. The student needs to say, yes, I want this, or yes, I want that. And I've told a lot of the folks that they don't think that the kids are going to eat a lot of the, you know, Johnny doesn't like the spinach. And you don't think that like 3/4 of the population do. We do have to meet requirements. So I have to serve dark greens and I just don't want to serve broccoli every day during the week.
Yeah.
So I change it up. I've got spinach, I've got broccoli, I've got some different items like that.
But do they have to go ahead?
They
and
don't have to take it.
But does the cooks have to go ahead and make sure that spinach is prepared for every child?
Not for every child.
Okay.
No, it's an offer versus serve. So you're not going to, not, you know that not every child is gonna prepare or gonna eat the spinach. They're not gonna run it. So.
So you base that back, if I'm not to interrupt you, but I hear I'm asking, and I think the question is, how do you know how much spinach to prepare?
You prepare what you're
They
going
ate from
to.
before? Because they're supposed to keep track, I think, of what they ate the last time you served
They
spinach.
can, and the cooks are really good at that. You know, I mean, that's their job.
But
They see the
eating and
spinach.
throwing away is two different things.
Yeah,
Kid may
and-
take it, and it's gonna end up in the trash.
Well, if so many kids take it and they run out of spinach, then that's a good day. So if you make like half of the student
Or they
body
throw it
and then
away.
not everybody takes it, then, you know, I mean, not everybody's gonna do that. That's what the cooks are supposed to be doing. If they know that it's something, and vegetables are a really good, item there because we've got carrots, you know, there's all kinds of items. We have to put them on the menu. Sweet potatoes, they don't make enough for every student in the school because they know that not every student is gonna take that. So that they, you know, they reduce the amount that they make. And then for the kids that ask for it, because we are offer versus serve, so they need to ask what they want on their plate.
So if I'm a kid who just really doesn't like vegetables.
Right.
I have to have there are certain things I have to have on my tray, whether I'm going to eat them or not.
You have to have 3 items.
So
Whenever
if
you walk
I'm
out for
only
breakfast
eating
or for
the
lunch.
hot dog,
Mhm.
I'm only gonna eat the hot dog. I have to have those other things on there, which means they have to go in the trash.
If you're eating a hot dog, you've got 2
Ultimately.
things. You've got
And there's
bread,
nothing
which
you
is
can
your
do.
grains, and you've got your meat. So if you're taking a hot dog, that's 2 things.
So the
What about if
third,
you got
what I'm
your-
saying is the
yeah.
third thing has to go in the trash one way or the other. So you're gonna have, I guess what I'm
You're gonna
saying
have
is,
some waste.
there's only so.
Who's demanding
you
the
have
third,
to-
the 3 things?
That's the state.
That's federal or
That
state?
is- Well, it's
It's federal, I was
Yeah.
gonna say, it's
But-
federal, the state, I think, supports it, the same
They
thing,
do.
but it's not Hardee County schools.
We have to offer 5 items at lunch.
So if
And
they
then they
could,
need to take 3 of those items, one of which
Right, they
has to
have
be
to
a
have
fruit
X
or
number of
vegetable.
things. which
And then
means
at
something's
breakfast,
going
we
in the
have to
trash.
offer 4 items. And then they have to take 3 of those items.
So on a salad bar, they could take all 5 items off the salad bar?
They could take whatever they wanted to in the salad bar.
He's talking about
No,
meeting the
no, to meet
requirements.
the 3 requirements.
Or is that separate?
They could. Yeah, instead of taking the spinach off of the line, the kid could go over and get, you know, a
Yeah, and
piece
I'll-
of fruit.
and I
it
will
would
tell
still
them-
count as, you
And the
know,
protein that they would have to have
Protein has to.
the
has to come
protein is-
from.
And I will say
the
that
meat.
our cafeteria manager, Tina,
Mhm.
like for breakfast, if the kids come through there and I will say, trying to ask 5 and 6-year-olds, do
It's
you
fine.
want, you with us? And then they just look, "No, you're getting it, just, you know, go on, because, you know,
Yes,
they don't have
They don't
time.
have time, they're not awake yet.
And we get that.
They don't
And
know.
she will say, if they say, no, I don't want that, or I don't want that, and they just have 1 item on their tray, she will tell them, you have to get 2 items in off of
She does.
the bar. And I will say, the salad bar is usually really good. I mean, there's been lots of times where I
I've
get
been
a
trying to
salad.
bulk
And they
them
will eat the raw vegetables, if you give them a little ranch, they'll eat those more than anything in the can.
And we not
They
only
can
put a
drown
can
it
of
in
fruit or
rain.
some sort of fruit on the serving line, you know, in case they wanted that. We also have fruit on the salad bar. We put the vegetable, we have to have a cup of each that we serve at both times, breakfast and lunch. A cup of fruit we have to serve or offer. So they can take a half a cup off of the salad bar, or they can take the half a cup off the serving line. So if they wanted to, they could take them both.
And, you know, in
that's-
elementary, and we kind of feel, you know, there's a little bit of a difference in the meals between elementary kids, what they're going to eat, and what maybe the high schoolers will eat.
There's a big difference.
So I think there's like a little bit of maybe some planning that, you know, some thought needs to be considered. This is, because that egg scramble that you all get with the bacon and potatoes and stuff in it, I'm like, y'all are crazy. That stuff's good.
We got the bacon.
And they won't eat it. It
Most
just goes
kids
right in the
really-
trash. If they have that ketchup
No,
on
and we
it,
can do that. They won't
I
do
mean,
that.
I'm saying, I brought my kids some smelly stickers. I'm like, if you try everything on your tray, you come to me during playtime and you're gonna get a smelly sticker. Well, half the time they forget, but they still
Well,
just
and
smell
I've
stickers.
even taken some of that and I've gone a different route with that too, like the scrambled eggs. We have scrambled eggs with bacon. We also get scrambled eggs with sausage now to try, you know, for the different things for the different kids. And we don't put I have a 7-week cycle menu. So I try to regurgitate the same things. And the items that they order are the exact same items that they ordered 7 weeks ago. So we're not ordering different items. There's nothing different on the menu unless something is subbed. So, in what is in the program is what they need to order. I have given them, all the numbers. If something's new, I give them a number. And I'll say, okay, this is what you have. If you need to know how many servings or whatever, let me know. When they pull that number up in the system, it tells them how many are in the box. So everything is in the name. I went back and put everything in the name of the item. So, for example, like the donuts, okay, we haven't had donuts, but if there was like a whole grain donut, then it would say like the whole grain donut and have the name of it, and then it would say 120 per case. So that's all in the name. So they know how many is there. They don't need to flip back and forth to programs. The Gordon's website is what they used to order. And they were used to the Gordon's website. Gordon's was changing their ordering system. So that's when I changed to this one. We got the module from the Primero program, which is the state program that's been around now for about 10 to 15 years. That's what we do our reimbursements on. All of the numbers that, go in for the kids, they all go into that system. They go in and, all the paperwork is done on that system from the cooks. It's been done there for years. So we purchased the inventory system last year, the module for that program. They did their ordering last year through the Primero program. They go to Gordon's only if they're looking for a CN label, and we cannot offer any item if it doesn't have a child nutrition label, which tells what the requirement, what requirements they meet, or if it's got a product formulation statement. We can only use it if it has that. We can't use any outside things that we don't know what it is. Everything from the items that I use, they can go back and look on Gordon's and say, okay, I'll pull that label off. So that's the only reason we still have Gordon's right now, is to pull the labels off. Most of the stuff we've used, there are some commodity things. They are on Primero. Commodities are on Primero. The milk is on Primero. The only thing that I did not put on the Primero system that they can pull into their inventories is produce. Produce changes so much and it fluctuates and it's in and out so much. We really don't do the produce on the Primero system. And Primero itself, we also bought, the inventory program is what we've got. They were doing ordering last year. We had done that for, I guess, about 4 or 5 months. Then we went into the inventory system, and what that includes is when Gordon's comes in and they scan all of the items, they drop them off and deliver them. They scan those items. It's dropped onto an invoice on their system in Primero. When they click on that receipt, it shows everything that should have been delivered to them. They just go in and click a couple of buttons and say, yeah, I received this and this and this and this and this. And then they hit confirm. Then all of those items are dropped into their inventory. So everything is right there. It's supposed to be a whole lot quicker than doing a really large manual, which is what they had and they've been using for years. It's a great big binder that they have, and they have to flip it open and then find the page, of where this is, and then mark off however many. And, that's the way it's been for a lot of years. And this alleviates all of that. It gets rid of a lot of the paperwork that they were doing. To take items off of inventory, all they need to do is go in and click a couple buttons, pull the item up, minus this number, and then hit withdraw. And it takes them immediately off of their inventory. So this program has, it has purpose. The production record module is another one that we purchased. These are going to be extremely handy because the state has also said that they are interested in purchasing them. What that means is that they won't have to come for reviews. They can do the reviews from downstate. So they can just pull up all of the paperwork online, where the last one that we did, I think, was last year. And I had to go to all of the schools, pull all of the paperwork together, make sure that they actually had everything together. If they were missing something, we had to go look for it. Everything was kind of chaos. Then I had to take it and scan it and send it to the state. So this way, all they'll have to do is pull it up because it is the state use, the system that they use. So that was the purpose in getting that. Production records are exactly the same as the ones that they did before They just need to go in and say, this is how many they produced, made, this is how many the kids ate, and then it totals it itself. All they have to do then is print out the production form, just like they had before. This way it helps me too, because I can see what's in inventory. As long as they do it, I can see what's in their inventory. If we have an excess of something, I can change a menu. I can put that item on so that we can use it up in the county, and then I don't have to have a lot of it sitting over the summer. We had a freezer go down over the summer at East Hardy Elementary School because there was a lot that was sitting in it, and everything was lost. So we don't want to do that. We want to make sure that everything is used by the end of the school year. Primero also helps because when they're putting their orders in, I can do something there that I could never do at Gordon's, which is review the orders. For example, I purchased the ground beef and the hamburgers, and I put them out here in the little board freezer that we have, which I'm really liking that freezer. But we purchased from Lost River, and we have a bid this year with Lost River. They match the prices of Gordon's. So that's why we're using Lost River. It's really good, good meat and everything. We're not paying any more money for it. And they match whatever prices that Gordon's offers us. I went into some of the orders because I can go through and see what they're ordering before I submit the orders. And one of the schools kept ordering hamburger. And I had it out here and I keep telling people, let me know. If this would have been Gordon's last year's, we would have had extra hamburgers sitting around that we didn't need to purchase. And this year, I can take those things off of their order and make sure that they get what they need from the freezer out here. So that's really helped a lot.
Do you
But that's
finalize
just
the
one.
order before it goes in, or do they
I
send
do.
it in?
They send it in to me. Well, they save it. And when they save it, then it comes to me. And then I review all of the orders before they're submitted. I actually send the menus out 2 weeks ahead of time. Last month, I sent it out late because I was in the delivery room with my son and his, but anyway, it got out a little later than I wanted to, but that's the only one that I've sent out late. The others go out at least 2 weeks ahead of time. And then that way I meet at the end of the month. After I send them out, I have the cooks review them with their staff. And then I meet at the end of the month virtually. I have a Teams meeting with all of my cafeteria managers. And if there's any problems, they should let me know there. And we just did that at the end of September, and no one had any issues.
Can I ask you a question? Do
Yes.
you all, when I was a cook years ago, elementary always got a different menu from the other older kids, simply because we did not need the big portions and all the food. Is that not something that they do anymore statewide?
I do
Did
it-
they stop that?
No, I do them from K to 2. They have their own menus. I do a 6 to 8, and we only, of course, have one middle school now, so it's just the middle school. And then I do a 9 to 12.
'Cause
So I
know
have
our-
3 different sets of menus I do every month.
Right, I wanted
And
to
then
visit that.
Tina also works with me and Libby now over at the elementary school in East Hardy for the pre-K kids. So we go through because they have less yet.
Right.
So rather than doing a pre-K menu, we work together and get all of those things done.
Because those big meals, like that chicken parmesan and stuff like that, it really honestly is too much of a meal
Yeah.
for that age group. Because they do throw it away. They don't understand why they have chicken on spaghetti. You know,
Well,
like,
unfortunately,
they don't.
they were supposed to ask them if they wanted the sauce over it.
Like
So
they
some
don't
of them
jive.
cooked it in the sauce, and they weren't supposed to do that because that's not what was on the recipe.
Now Salisbury steak, mashed potatoes and gravy. that's
Yeah.
Well, do you actually need 7 weeks worth of menus? I mean, if the
Well-
kids really like a couple weeks worth of things, I mean, couldn't we have 2 weeks worth of menus and stuff that the kids
Well,
really
I
like?
had tried a 4-week menu, and I tried a 3-week menu. When I first started with doing the menus like that, they got tired of everything. So after a couple of months, they just didn't, they weren't eating it. So if you do a 7-week, and I also do the menus based on what the students like. So I go back in the program and I pull off the days with the highest participation, and then I go back and look at the menu items. And those are the highest ones. Those are the ones that are actually on the menu. And then if they act like they don't really like something, like the chicken parm I took off, beef stroganoff, some of the schools loved it. It was like hamburger helper, they said, and they really liked it. But if they don't, if I get a really bad reaction, then I'll switch it on the cycle menu so that we go on.
Well, I told our kids, I said, hey, it's hamburger helper.
Yeah.
It's
And that's-
hamburger helper.
No, I heard from a couple people, oh, my kids
Yeah.
just love that. So, yeah. And it's all in a school, you know, you can't change the entire county because one school does it.
Yeah.
But then again, you don't want that school to, you know, just
Sure.
throw it in the trash. So, do you have any questions?
So you base your menus on what the kids like,
Yes.
and the way you're getting that number is what they're serving, not actually what they're eating.
The kids that have come through the line, yes. So if it has a high participation rate on that day, then I get from there. But we also go out. Now, I say we, I go out, I've gone out to the kitchens and I've walked around to the kids and I've talked to them and said, you know, do you like this meal? You know, I haven't done it this year yet, but I've done it like, you know, the past, I don't know how many years. I also ask the managers to go around whenever there are meals and to, you know, check with the kids if they have time and see if there's something that, you know, do you like this? Is this a yay or is this an A? We do taste tests and we haven't done a lot of those since COVID, but I want to get back into doing those because then that way, you know, the kids actually have a say and they vote on it. Yes, I like this. No, I don't. Yes, I want this on the menu. No, it's nasty. Yeah, I don't want that. But we try to do things like that too. So.
I suggested to Becca, maybe she could put her items on, for the older kids, on a survey that we could send out to their email through Teams, and the kids could pick the things they like. And I'm sure you guys could probably vote and select what your kids eat the most.
I have
like
a
top 5 or top 10 meal.
Well, I actually have a Google Doc that I was getting ready to do, and it was like with some of the menu items that I have now. There are some that I cycle out, like we have country fried steak, which the kids really like. And, but I won't make the cooks do that every 7 weeks. So I flip that over and then we'll do Salisbury steak instead of the country fried steak. And then we'll do, you know, it is, it's pretty
Gotta
hard
roll
to
that
do.
hamburger out and throw on that.
But then, you know, we do this, like this month, 2 weeks from, like the week after next, we're doing pork loin. So, you know, that's something we haven't done since COVID and we're bringing that one back. And I really, you know, think this way we'll pull in participation. So those are the things that we try to do in order to make sure that the meals that are getting, you know, but the vegetables, we have to have red oranges every week. We have to have the dark greens. We have to have, you know, peas and beans. We have to have beans, and what kid likes beans, you know, but we have to put them
You
there.
talking soup beans?
Any kind of bean. We can put it, we used to have the little hummus cups because they count as beans and we would put them on the bar, and that's why. You can offer the beans, but they don't have to.
Yeah, and that was a better way to do it, so they're not all getting a cup of the hummus and throwing it in the trash.
Right.
It was better that it was on the salad bar.
Oh, and also with the sugars, all of the sugars are whole grain. Everything that we get, like those mini pull apart things and everything are whole grain and reduced sugar. So when we get the whole grain item, it actually absorbs into the system, you know, slower than it would if it was just a white refined type of item. So, I mean, it shouldn't be causing them to go crazy, but we try to do what we can with that and do as many nice, warm, homemade meals during the week as we can. But there are some items you just have to, you know. We do get like pizzas and pizza bagels and other items like that.
And they like that.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that, well, I'll just put it this way. I don't think you can get an accurate feel of the kids and what they're eating by the participation because they're not packing their lunch, or very few do. They're going to go through the menu. They're going to get scanned and all that. I think where you're seeing it is the dump, is the trash. And I'm just like Mrs. Bean. I think 7-week menu rotation is just way too big.
I can back it
I
up
mean,
a little bit, I guess. And try.
Well, I just know being at the middle school forever, and I worked cafeteria duty forever. You know, it doesn't take long. You know, do pizza once a week.
I have pizza once a week.
And pepperoni rolls. You know, so there's 2 of the 5, and I can't imagine those kids get to say at 5 weeks later, I'm tired of this, because they love it.
Yeah.
And if you've got 35 different menus, that's just too much because they're not going to like a lot of, I mean, the spinach, you might as well never order spinach. I know you got to have the greens, order more peas or green beans or something.
Yeah, it would be, we can't even do, like, green beans aren't a dark green. There's certain categories and subgroups that they have to fit into. And we have to meet every one, even
And that's
the
a federal,
3-day week.
that's a federal
It
thing.
is, yeah, that's the USDA.
I just
And
don't understand
even
because
if
you're
it's a-
wasting money.
Well, if they make less and don't, just give it to the kids that actually want it, which is what you're supposed to be doing for the offer versus serve. If they do that, it's not.
Now, do the
it's not
cooks or
wasted,
cafeteria
it's not-
manager have any say in the menus or do you make the menus?
Yeah, no, well, I rate the menus, but then I send it out to them and then I meet with them toward the end of the month before I ever post the menus. And then if there's any concerns or questions about the menus, and believe me, sometimes I duplicate things, or they'll say, well, can we mix this? We just had this not long ago. Can we, and yeah, they do have input like that. And the managers are supposed to, when I send them out, meet with their staff and review the menus. And, that way then whenever they get to the meeting part, we can address any issues. And then I can fix those issues before I post the menus.
So if
The
you
last
go
thing
to
I wanna do
7-week
is-
menu, you only have to meet every 7 weeks then.
No, well, we meet every month. And then that way, if they see anything, then we can fix it or I can change it.
You have no idea of the amount of waste then that we're having.
I haven't so far. I haven't been out to the schools this year to look at the trash.
Can I
But
say
have.
something?
Mhm.
Morgan Elementary School, we do have coolers for the kids to put their food in that does go to a food pantry. And there will be times those coolers are filled to the top. And only half of the school has been up to eat breakfast.
And then the other half goes in the trash.
So there was an issue with whose job it was to carry the coolers out to the foyer to be picked up by the food pantry. So Mr. Armentrout has a couple high school boys that comes over and will pick the coolers up and carry them out to the foyer. Well, they come over about 10 after 8. Well, only half of the school's been served breakfast.
The cooler's a little before my class.
So the rest of the stuff, the kids know when they go up to dump their tray, if that cooler's gone, well, they'll just sit on, it's a little table about like that, has the thing for the silverware. They'll just sit their unopened items up there on that. Well, then the problem with that is then there's nowhere for them to sit their tray when they're putting their silverware in and doing that. So
What
the
happened
custodian
to
comes
the-
along
What
and
happened to the refrigerator there? There used to be a shelf.
there is a fridge. Yeah. So the custodian comes along and once it gets piled too high, she throws it in the trash can, which was, to my knowledge, she was the one that complained. And I'm like, you're complaining because you don't want to carry the coolers out to the foyer, but yet you're carrying the trash cans
Out to the
out to the dumpster. So either way, you're carrying the stuff to the trash.
And I volunteered, because I'm one of the last people up there getting the breakfast. I volunteered myself so that my kids, first and second graders, could have seconds, because you can ask Carrie. I run that whole cafeteria looking for extra food for my kids because it's all gone. I volunteered to pick it up and take it to there.
Nothing should leave daily to go to a food pantry.
Well, Mr. Armentrout
Our
asked me,
kids
but I
are-
had no idea it was that.
It
The enormity
shouldn't
of
be,
that.
before kids get it, like at
It
the end
can
of the
go
day,
back
before
the
it gets
next
thrown
day.
away, it can go to the
Yeah,
food pantry,
it can
but
be
all the
carried
kids should have
over.
access to it
That's
first.
what
And my suggestion was
Way
even,
before I even get to breakfast.
like, kindergarten, we go to lunch at 11 o'clock. We're the first lunch. So by 2:30, almost time for dismissal, those kids could have used a little snack
And they can
before
have.
they go home.
Yeah.
And we were,
That's-
didn't want that in the classroom, and I'm like, we ate in the classroom for like 3 years for breakfast, so I don't understand.
So what's the difference?
All right, Jason, you have.
Is that the only school that does is it the food pantry? Do we know?
That's the only one that I know of.
That's all I
Yeah.
know of, and I remember having these discussions because it was before they go in the trash, like,
Right.
once you can't give it to anybody,
Yeah,
then
it's
then
not supposed to
okay
be like
go to a
that.
food pantry.
They,
coolers
I
are
was
left
told
there.
there were not many things that
The
actually
coolers
went.
are left there, or had been being left there until all the kids ate breakfast, all of them.
And I was told.
And that's
that
how it
no
should
like
be. Not
no
every
one
house.
else.
Absolutely.
That's
But not
That's
just
counted
children,
on
like,
it.
now it's an issue because nobody, with coolers. Okay, well,
It can be carried over and put on the next meal service, because if you have something and we've already counted it, the kids can take it off the next day and they don't have to take, like the 3 things they can take, but
But
they can
milk and
grab any
juice
of
are
those
different, right?
things.
Am I right that milk can't go back in after it's been out?
It can, as long as
After a
it's
certain amount
not
of time though?
warmed up enough, and I don't
Yeah.
know that you'd be able to tell exactly how long it's been sitting out. So milk was the thing,
That was
whenever
what I
those
thought.
folks were, yeah, it's supposed to be, I thought it was milk.
Well, one of our visits last year, I remember seeing milk set on a table somewhere, I'm not sure what school, to about noontime for breakfast.
Oh, no, oh, my.
You know?
No.
No, it's supposed to be kept on ice and
Right.
or refrigerated right on this little tray, yeah.
What did you want to say?
Refrigerator.
You had
I don't know what
mentioned
it's used
a
for.
mini fridge in the
Mhm.
cafeteria.
Yeah.
I was told when I started at the elementary school last year
Mhm.
that mini fridge does not keep a low enough temperature for milk to go in, so we are to throw it away.
You're
That
throwing
is what
the
I was
fridge away,
told.
or you're throwing the food away?
The milks. I'm specifically talking about the milks. So, and I was told that by the other custodian and by the.
So what's the
Well, it
point of the
should be a-
refrigerator?
38 degrees? I mean, it
Yeah.
would hold
It
milk
can go
or,
up to 41 and still be okay.
well, it would go up to 41 as soon as you would open it. If you set it to 38, it's gonna,
And our kids want enough of the extras that it
Mhm.
will empty.
yeah.
Yeah,
Because
and that's supposed to go to
they're
them.
gonna
It's
eat
not
more than
supposed to
what
Say,
our kindergarten kids do.
and I give my second
Yeah, I have
graders
some
at
first
breakfast,
graders that
it's
want extra.
unbelievable the
That's so
amount of
sweet.
food that they get for breakfast, isn't it? Because they come in hungry, and I'm gonna feed them, sorry, I'm gonna feed them.
And
That's
little
just
kids, I mean, they're bad for when they come through the breakfast line, they're getting all this, and then they go over there and
Kids are
there's
so used to
juice or whatever, and cereal, and
Fast
there's
food.
yogurt, and there's the cheese stick, and they come out with all of that, and then they go to dump, and I'm like,
It's not chicken.
aren't you
no,
gonna
it's
eat
French
that? No, I said, then don't take it. You don't need to take all that if you're not gonna eat it, and they're bad for that,
If
so,
it's unopened
yeah.
and wrapped, then you can put it on a sheer table and someone else can take it.
Back to the spinach.
Yes.
Could you just put raw spinach on the salad bar?
We do sometimes to meet the dark green,
Uh-huh.
but you have to have a weekly amount as well as a daily amount of certain items. So in order to meet the weekly amount, I put it on there once a week, just on one meal a week. We put it, but it's also on the salad.
Thank you.
Okay.
There's a whole lot of, regulations that we have to meet. And I know that some of it would amount to waste, that's why we went off of versus serve, is so we could, alleviate the waste. Because if somebody.
Thank
Thank you all.
Email or something?
Okay, will do. No, I'll call.
Thank you, see ya.
But we don't want it going in the garbage is the thing, and they don't have to make enough for all the students because it's not a served school. So they don't have to serve every student, they just have to serve the ones that would like to have it. And there are some kids that like it, but then again, there's a lot that do not. So that's why we changed to offer versus serve, was to eliminate waste, not to create it. So I'm wondering if they're just not putting it on everybody's tray when they get.
It sounds like it.
Yeah.
Honestly. I'd say that you'd probably have to go and observe, but it sounds like it.
Yeah, well, I will check into all of that, and,
Have anything else?
I don't. Is
I
there any other
have one
questions?
question.
Yes.
The paper that she passed out to us that compared prices, like a case of mandarin oranges
Mhm.
in the bigger can, I think, compared to the price in the individual cups. Do you look for the least expensive
I try
item
to
to
do that,
buy?
yes, and I have, on occasion, I was thinking the juice boxes last year would be the cheapest, so I put juice boxes on menus. And then actually Jennifer was the one who called me and said, hey, do you know that the cups are cheaper than the boxes? And I said, no, I didn't see that. So I changed everything to cups. If you look at the cups now, we're using their cups. Had I known that, then I would have done that.
Oh,
But, and another thing that I've mentioned to them, like we have fruit cocktail and we have a mixed fruit cup. Use the mixed cocktail cans, and I do tell them that because we get all of those items from commodity. So they're a lot less expensive. You don't need to use the cup, it's exactly the same item in a cup.
Yeah.
So yeah, that one, it's a bad example, honestly, because they should be doing that anyway. If it says a half a cup on the menu, then you serve them half a cup, it's the exact same.
Who are
I
the,
just wondered if that was just,
who are the students?
I didn't see what she sent, so I had no idea what she.
At Morpho?
she did,
It would be
uh,
Karen.
the mandarin oranges. Would you help me
Who's-
remember?
who's
I can't
What
remember,
else?
but it was a big difference.
Well,
Okay.
and you know, I like to keep
She
communication
works
open
from
with
5:30
everybody.
to 1:30.
But I think there were some
And
people
nowhere.
very
And I
upset
work
because
from
they
11 to
who lost a
7.
halftime
Oh,
person. So those schools have not been calling
Oh,
me.
so you're working
And
now?
I think that's what is
No,
going
sir,
on with
today
that.
I went
It's
in
better
early
to
because there wasn't any
just
students. I went
complain
to work
rather
for.
than.
Oh, okay.
I went in
You know, all the other schools
Nine.
call and say, hey, have
Good
you
deal.
looked at
Thank you.
this? And like I said, at the end of the month, last month, I asked everybody repeatedly, are there any issues here? Is there anything we need to talk about or deal with? And everybody, it was crickets.
Okay.
When your
So-
program that you're using, I mean, when, two different stories of it, from
Yeah.
you and from Jennifer. Either it's not working for her, or she doesn't understand the program or
Well,
something.
I have done like 4 trainings last year.
Well, she may need 5.
I also did one at the beginning of
Okay.
this year just to make sure. And I
But to keep
just
people
sent out,
happy, I think that,
well, I sent out on Friday or last Monday because of today was a PL day. So I asked everybody. Tina actually said she needed some for her staff, so I sent her items. I told them I'd come out in person. If you need any training, let me know. Nothing. So I can only do it if they actually let me know there's a problem.
well, I think there's a
And,
problem. I
yeah,
think
I
you know
think so
that now.
too. Yeah, I
Does the
do.
state do training on that? It's a state program, right? Do they come in? and
The
do
state
training on
sends
that?
out, like what she was saying, the videos, you know, so the state sends
They
out the
don't send out-
videos and stuff like
They don't
that.
have an actual person.
They don't send a person to do it. No, but I did have a person here last year that walked through it with them. Plus, we did it online. Plus, she had handouts and videos. And, you know, all of those things I've sent to everyone. And I've also went out myself at the beginning of the school year, helped all of the schools if they had any questions about it. I walked them through a lot of it just to get them going because this is the first year we're actually implementing this program, the production. And the inventory and the ordering we did last year, this year we're going into production. And I think it's maybe a little more than I thought. Some of the schools are telling me it's cut down drastically on the time that they actually spend in the office. So, you know, and that was one of them that actually didn't do computer work very much. So I think it's something that as long as we could sit down and do it, I believe it would be more beneficial than they realize.
The program that we use so no student has to pay for the meals.
Right.
That you renew every year, every time it comes up.
That is the program.
Okay. Is that being renewed as we speak?
I
or-
don't think you're talking about the same thing.
No,
He's he's not talking about Primero. He's
Oh.
talking
No.
about CEP.
Right.
Oh,
Community
yeah, the
eligibility.
CEP, community eligibility, that
Right.
is a 4-year. It's 4 years. Now, within that 4 years, if it goes up, you can renew it again for another 4 years. But unfortunately, ours has gone either the same or down within the past 4 years. And I think more people are getting jobs. So, you know, it's pulling people off of certain,
Well, didn't we just renew
benefits.
that last year?
I
So
thought, yeah, I thought you renewed it because it went up.
No, it didn't go up. It hasn't gone up in the past 3
Oh, I was
years.
thinking
So
like
this will
we
be the
renewed.
4th
I
year.
thought you did too. I thought we went up until we renewed it.
Yeah.
No, it renews itself every year, but it'll stay at the higher rate unless we get higher. But for the past 3 years, it's not gone higher.
I'm sorry, it renews itself every year?
Yeah, it renews for
For
4
4
years.
years?
Yeah, for the 4-year cycle. And at the end of 4 years, you have to go by whatever rate you're at. So we won't know that rate until April. And I'm hoping that it'll go up.
So I'm sorry, it renews every year for another 4 years?
No.
Just for
it
a
renews
year.
every year for 4 years. So that you don't have to.
Annually for 4
yeah.
years, it's renewing is what she's
Yeah.
saying. But so I must be losing my mind because I thought you told us, I thought it was last year, or maybe the year before, because time slips
It was
away.
a
but
couple of years.
I thought it
ago.
went up and you said I go in and recertify
Yeah,
it because then
exactly.
I
That's what I
reset and
thought.
lock
That
in
was
the higher
3
rate.
years. Yeah, it was 3 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
I missed.
So at
this
the
will
end
be
of
the
this year,
4th year.
then,
At the 25 and 26 school year, it will be the 4th year. So
So
with
this is year
that,
3.
yeah, so this is year 3. And then next year will be the 4th year, but whatever it is in April 1st, I have to have everything in for verification. They'll pull the numbers on April 1st for the CEP. And then we'll we'll get the information then as to what percentage it is this year.
And if our percentage on April 1st is higher, you recertify for 4
For
years.
4 more years.
And if it's lower.
If it's lower, then
stays
we recertify for 4 more years because our 4 years has run out.
Not
But
this
we'll
year.
go at the, next year. We'll go at the lower rate. Even if it's lower, we'll go at the lower rate. So we've kept this rate for 4 years because it's the higher rate. So
I don't quite understand that.
it's just a 4-year
I got that
cycle
part.
is what it is. So
That we
at
didn't
the
renew
beginning of the
last year
4
like we
years,
thought.
yeah, at the beginning of the 4 years, you go by whatever the rate is at that point. I think it was like 86.9 or something like that. And then you take that 86.9 for 3 years. And then at the end of them, on the 4th year, you'll take whatever rate comes then. So each year your rate comes up, but if it's lower, you stay at the higher rate that you started with.
For a 4-year cycle.
For 4 years.
But then when you go into a new cycle,
Yeah.
then
But you can start your cycle over if it goes up.
Yes.
So if in year 2 of the 4-year cycle, you go from 86.7
Right.
to 89,
Then
you
you go for
lock in
4
at
more
89 and you reset your 4 years. You reset your cycle of 4 years.
so
I just thought we did that last year. That's
I
why I
thought
was
we did
confused.
It's been a couple years, yeah. It
So this
seems
is
like
year
it's-
3 of a
yeah.
4-year cycle,
Yes.
and next year is year 4.
Right.
And then we automatically reset, and whether it's higher or lower, that's our new rate,
Mhm.
unless the next year it goes up and we can
Exactly.
reset again.
Okay. It's only slightly
and so our rate is dependent on the percent that are
Certified, yes, so it's a
Low
direct certification
socioeconomic.
from, yes,
I get
from
the
DHHR.
DHHR, the files each week, and then I also go in and direct certify myself for any students that are homeless or runaway or migrant, if we have those, or CCI, I do those as well. And there's a lot of different parts to that. But yeah, at the end, as long as I've got everybody in there, even Head Start, as long as everyone is in there by April the 1st, then those numbers will be pulled from that, and that's where we get our percentage. And it'll be the percent maybe from the county, anybody who's on any kind of benefits, like TANF percent, or, Medicaid, anything like that.
well, with the wages they're paying at Pilgrims, it could pull some folks out, with the higher wages that,
And you said you had a freezer go down at East Target this year?
I did.
Why
And
didn't
also
it
that-
have an alarm on it?
I asked about that at the beginning of the year and told me no freezers went down over the summer. Didn't lose anything.
Was it August?
It was August. It was right before school started. So.
It may have been before that.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
think what happened was that we didn't have power, so it knocked our alarm off. But I asked, you said it wasn't a lot of food, because remember I asked that question.
There was a good bit of food in there, more than I thought.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, I was thinking there wasn't much, but then whenever, I saw what it was.
Did you inventory it and put a dollar
They
amount
do
on
an
it?
inventory each year, yeah, and they put a dollar amount on it, but I don't think it covered all of it. I don't know.
It would be interesting to see the information,
Well, and I
if you could
think-
get it for us.
I will, but I think too, what they do is they put the commodity price on there and not the actual retail price.
But if we paid retail for it, we need to know what the actual
Well, it was
loss.
paid, commodity was paid, but then we got an entitlement on the amount that it was worth, retail. So, yeah, it was actually maybe paid like, $20 for the box, but it was probably worth 120, so I mean, that's what I was meaning.
Well, whatever we paid, I would think that we're
You think
not,
too-
we're not
want the retail.
gonna inflate it. That wouldn't be right, but, well, it sounds like that with the changes and everything and, with people feeling pressured to the cooks and stuff to do their job and it's not you, Becca. They've always been like that. There's not enough cooks in the kitchen and
Well, I
so
appreciate that, I really do. And what I don't think that they're realizing is that meal counts have gone down. One school in particular is at the very bottom when it comes to breakfast. and maybe at number 4 when it comes to lunch. And then, the counts have gone down, but that halftime person was only there for 2 years. And before that, is when we had higher meal counts and they only had 3 people.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
I think a lot of it too are the subs.
There
It
are
seems,
some.
the lack of subs, that if they need to take off, that whenever they need a sub, then Lord, they're really, it's like take the broom to your back and sweep the floor as you go.
It is hard.
And that's not just the cooks, that's everyone. We heard it. There's a general frustration.
And morale. She was right when she said morale is low. I don't know what is causing that. I really don't. But yeah, and communication is not, not very good right now, apparently. So.
Well, we need to hopefully improve on all that, and certainly, it's a job, because a job is a job. It's not a play day, and you do have to work hard. Every place you're employed expects you to do the work of a person and a half, maybe 2 people. I always fussed as a pharmacist that if I had another body, I'd be in good shape. And it's difficult, for everybody. So, but I think that it's so important, the job that you do, to make sure that the kids have the proper nutrition so they can learn. Because if they're hungry, they're not going to learn.
Well, and we have gone back into pre-COVID meals where we are doing the speed scratch and from scratch meals more during the week. So, that's something that we're trying to pull together.
So. Well, and it seems, I know from my own grandchildren, it seems that the young kids like something they can pick up. They don't like to use silverware. They tend to like the food they can pick up and eat, with the nuggets and the cheese sticks and all that. Yeah, all that sort of, all that sort of stuff.
Fast food.
So you got to think hands and not so much knife and fork.
Was there anything else from anyone?
That's good. Thank you, Becky.
Yeah,
Thank
we
you.
appreciate it. Okay, so now we're to board member superintendent discussion. No action may be taken.
I don't have any serious items. I just wanted to say that at the last meeting, I misspoke, and I sent you all an email about that, about the clerk position versus, and I had those 2 backwards in my head. We actually eliminated the guidance counselor position at Moorfield High School in order to hire the social studies position. The clerk position they had, but then we were told they no longer needed it at the time. So I just wanted to correct that with you. I'll make sure that was on the record. And also we currently have, really based upon requirement in policy, the 2 special ed teacher positions posted. There are different levels of behavior that students can be assigned to. And once you have at least one student that's a level 3, that lowers the ratio for the number of adults to students. So that elementary class is loaded. We've tried to hire a teacher. We're unable to find somebody. So our plan, just so when you see it, is we still have those 2 teacher positions posted, is to go ahead and post an aide position, not planning to hire 2 teachers and an aide. But if we can get that aide before we can get the teacher, going ahead hiring the aide, pulling the 1 teacher away and just making it work with, the regular teacher and the aide until we can, absolutely have to have the teacher. And then when that time comes, because we're over in the other special ed classroom there anyway. And that we have no control over. That's all, again, the state requirements as far as how that works. But we're doing everything we can. It is a very high need, urgent situation at that classroom at Moorfield Elementary right now. So we are aware and we're trying to get subs, but nobody's taking the jobs most of the time. So it's been, Mr. Armitrong and Shanda have been there.
An autism class, I can understand. And it could be because the people don't feel that they're trained to be able to do that.
Well, and the folks, the aides that we have hired have been autism mentors. So they had their 30 hours of autism mentor training. Not saying they don't need more, because certainly they're asking for it. We should provide it. But I know that it's not just students with autism in that classroom, is it?
No, it's
I didn't
also
think
severe
so.
intellectual disabilities.
Yeah, so it's a really tiny
A
classroom,
mix,
a
okay.
mixture. So it's
Behavior.
not just, yeah, what we used to call it the severe and profound classroom. Now it's intellectual disabilities, but it's very challenging behavior and academically. And with the custodial things, I know that there have been 13 times so far this year we've not had a substitute custodian at Morford Elementary in particular. And Mr. Armentrout and Mrs. Walker have stayed and cleaned for hours after school to try to keep up with that. And I know you've been sick and been working because the other custodian maybe is out, but that's been an issue too with substitutes.
Is there a major, I mean, if a custodian's missed that many days, is there
Well, that's
a
just
chronic
total
illness?
that's total between the two custodians. There have been 13 absences since, I guess, July 1. Nobody has reached anything that's been outside of the attendance policy at this point.
But there are not substitute custodians to come in.
Available, yeah. And so that's hitting us hard. We haven't had a substitute custodian here
Okay.
multiple times for the
Yeah.
last few weeks. So that's an issue in itself. So if you have any ideas on how we could potentially add to our sub lists, we're seeing it more now with service. We did have the teacher substitute shortage, and we're really seeing that shift now to the service piece. So secretary as well. So,
Any update on MES building?
She says she has one more.
oh, okay. Okay, great. I have 2 specific student discipline issues that I would need to go into executive session to discuss whenever you're ready.
You answered my question.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you asked me if I had anything else. I apologize.
I said, any update on the MES building?
Oh, I'm sorry, Melvin. I'm in a different
I was
world.
in there the other day.
Yeah,
I did take some
we've
pictures.
been
apologize.
pounded, huh?
Yes, I have. My brain's
That
slowly
was-
shutting down.
They were just, I don't know why these pictures turned out blue, but I stopped and looked at. the
Oh,
building
okay.
the other day. They had some of the metal off, those guys were in there working, but I didn't know if they,
I don't have an update.
And they're gonna be putting that back up.
whether we're working putting it up now, but I think we need to push pretty heavy to get it done.
Okay.
The maintenance guys.
Whomever needs to get it done.
The
3 years has
metals-
been too long.
The metal's being put back up by the contractor that we are paying that took that down, and then the insulator was coming. He was putting it back
And they
up,
were there
so
working that day. They may have gotten a bunch more.
It could be.
That was on
I
the
honestly
9th I
don't know.
stopped in, I think.
The 9th, you said? Okay, I'll get an update and find out for you.
I see you bought a lift.
Yes.
Did we get bids from other vendors on that?
No, because it was, well, he called around, but
Okay,
that was the
that's all
only
I
one
need.
available. Yeah, it
That's
was,
all I need.
yeah.
Bus accident, you said the driver was
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
Good.
Yeah, everything was good there.
Much damage to the bus?
I think it was relatively significant. I don't have an amount, but I think it was,
Sorry.
was one of our nicest buses, Josh said.
Yeah,
and
the new ones.
Did
one of
she
the
run
nice
off the road or
buses.
something?
Yeah, ran off the
I-
road. I understand it to be a pretty serious accident. I haven't seen pictures myself. I think it just happened Friday or at the end of the week. Josh had actually tried to call me. I was at ASBO with Sarah. Didn't realize I missed a call, and then he grabbed me over the weekend and said, "Hey, I gotta let you know this happened." And then the first question was, "Did we drug test?" And he said, "Yes, absolutely. We sent him for drug testing. She's off. Is it 3 days? Is that right? For the drug testing to come
Till it
back
comes
or
back.
till it comes back." So I think it must have been, I think it was Thursday evening, Friday, Saturday, or Friday, Monday, Tuesday. I think she can come back tomorrow or Wednesday, but it was scheduled to have the results back. I can get pictures and quotes and everything when we have it, but I don't know any of that yet.
Be good to see what it's gonna cost. Also, we have that other bus that was wrecked and rolled over. If there's parts off of that.
That we could use towards it. Okay.
The buses have cameras for oncoming cars, correct?
Yeah. Mhm.
Can they pick up the license plate number at a fairly high speed?
Usually.
Yeah, you can still pause it. It'll.
Because that happened up at the golf course about a week ago. And I meant to call to find out if anything was addressed. But the little boy was getting off the bus. The little thing comes out in front of the bus. He usually runs across the road. And thank the good Lord, he didn't run, but he walked because the oncoming car.
Oh, my word.
And then normally if he would have ran, it would have ran right over him.
Do you know what day it was?
It might have been Friday before last.
I mean,
Yeah.
Friday before
Something like,
last.
yeah.
I hate to say zero tolerance because I
Whoever
disagree
drops
with
off
zero
at the golf
At the
tolerance,
golf
but
course.
Yeah, well, at the golf course, or a couple feet
And
from
you
it.
witnessed it.
No, I didn't, but
Okay.
my first cousin did. And it was her great nephew, I guess.
Okay.
Because he gets dropped off there every day and she takes him home later or whatever. But she was beside herself.
Well, yeah,
I can
rightfully
imagine.
so.
Because normally that kid gets off the bus and runs across the road.
And this is end of the day drop off.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's scary.
And I'm sure the driver, whoever it was, will remember that
Yeah, they
because,
probably reported, but I'll find out.
yeah, I would like to see that person
Mm-hmm.
taken to court or whatever.
Yeah, they
Because
need
that
to be
was-
arrested.
There is 1,000 feet of visibility to see that bus,
Yeah.
not just 100 feet because there's. a
They
road
were
camera.
distracted
Yeah, they're probably on her
somehow.
phone.
Somehow.
Yep, I'll try to find out.
Thank you.
Anybody else have anything under board member superintendent discussion? Okay, we'll move on to future agenda items. Is there anything anyone would like on the future agenda? I know Melvin mentioned about the Pilgrims Building or the MES. What are we gonna call that place?
It's the Morford Elementary School new gym is what I call it.
It has
MES.
a different name every time
I know.
there's something on the invoices. It's called something else.
I can, but I'll send you, Josh will be here to give you an
Yeah,
update on the
that's
next
fine.
agenda too, but I'll also send you some updates.
And I think it would be helpful, and I know you will anyway, but make sure that you keep us updated about the hiring an aide or a teacher.
Sure.
And I'm also concerned about the cleanliness issue at Moorfield Elementary School. That's not acceptable, the pictures that I saw.
Those pictures were pretty gross.
I don't know where that one place, it looked like a storage room that had some mold issue and something like that. I don't know where that is in the building, but I am concerned. And 22 bathrooms does seem like a lot of bathrooms to clean, but if you know,
The only thing that
factory wise, go down through them and, get them knocked out,
I know that square footage helps determine the number of custodians. And then I know we also consider the number of students and we consider whether or not they have athletics. So that always
Sure.
factors in, but I can share with you what the square footage is and how many is at each building for you to look at. Actually, I have something with me I can send with you to think about for next time.
Well, I don't know who the custodians are there, and I truly wouldn't want their job, but if they're not doing an adequate job, then they need an improvement plan or to move on. So,
Well, can I say as one of the custodians in that school, I don't know what closet has the mold in it either.
did that look like a closet to you?
I didn't see the pictures,
Okay.
but I have no idea what room in my school would have mold. I have no idea.
I didn't realize you
I
were.
know about 30 years ago, there was only 2 of us custodians there.
Now there's 2 of us now.
There are 2 there, and that's about, about average with what we have.
Well, and one worked during the day, and I know that they did different things, and then the one in the afternoon, but anyway, if they have problems, there's probably other problems at other schools, but we haven't heard any complaints. But this type of thing is infectious. So,
I know more, when I worked there, Moorfield Middle School was pretty dirty.
Well, we'll schedule a visit before long and we'll see.
We'll just do a bathroom tour. Because that's where a lot of
Right
it.
after this meeting, I'll let you in.
After this meeting, I want to go home.
okay, under announcements, November 4th, it'll be our next Board of Education meeting, and it will be here at 5:00. On November 22nd, which I think is a Thursday, We'll have our board retreat, our fall budget retreat here.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
It's a Friday.
Yeah, I thought it was a Friday.
Okay. We could do Thursday or Friday, and I forget, did I say I couldn't be there on one of those days?
I thought it was the 15th.
I thought it was, yeah, it was an
That's
earlier,
right,
an
you're
earlier day.
absolutely right, you're
An earlier day.
absolutely right, it was that earlier week, because I'll be down in North Carolina with, thank you all. So that's coming up. So now we go on to mission statements and accomplishments. Does anyone, as Susie said, have a joy?
I just want to thank everybody for coming. You know, information is golden to me. And when you hear things, and it's a time to start asking questions. They took their evening to come and voice their opinions, and I think that should be highly regarded of them to do that.
Absolutely.
Well, they express their feelings about their current situations, and unless people tell us, we don't know.
Well, and they weren't accusatory about it.
Yeah, they were
It was factual,
Yeah,
and
this is what we're saying.
certainly, that's what we like to respond to. So that was good. Anything else?
Our sympathy to Doug on the death of his father.
Yes, definitely.
Congratulations to Morphle High School's football team for winning the Hardy Bowl.
Okay, so next we'll go to personnel. Do we need an executive? I think we probably need to have an executive session before we do personnel.
Okay.
And it's
personnel?
concerning personnel
Oh, okay.
and,
Hope you all do.
a student.
What I need to go in is about a student behavior issue,
Okay.
but it's
then
okay to go in
that-
if you all have personnel. Otherwise, we could do personnel first. Unless you all have
No,
personnel
We
questions.
don't have any
I
personnel?
don't.
Okay, well, I don't, so that's no problem. You can go ahead and do it then.
Okay. I would recommend the approval of the personnel actions as presented.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the recommended personnel actions. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, and it's 4-0. Okay, so I guess now we need a motion to go into executive session.
So moved.
Second.
For
Personnel.
student discipline issues.
Student discipline. So all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, and it passes to go into executive session 4-0
7:26.
at 7:26. we've had in a while, but I think that.
There you go. You're on.
I feel like they really needed to come here.
There you go.
So do we have a motion to come out of
So
executive
moved.
session without
Second.
any action taken? Have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And we're out of executive session 4-0 at 7:37.
I move we adjourn.
Have a
Second.
motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying
Aye.
aye. I guess it's 4-0. So what time?
7:38.
Okay. All right. Thank you all so much. It's been a good meeting. Thank everybody for their time, and caring about our kids.